This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 561 for the week of Sunday, March 17th, 2019. My name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
And this week we have very special guest translator for One Piece in Shonen Jump and Manga Plus. We have Stephen Paul with us again. How's it going, Stephen?
Again, here I am.
But we have other special guests as well. We have from Funimation, Godswill Ugwa, social media coordinator, is it?
Yes,
Director?
sir.
Yeah, I forget the exact. We also have Jana from Funimation. Would you two both also like to introduce yourselves, what you guys do?
Yeah, for sure. You want to start, Jana?
Sure, yeah. So I am the copywriter here at Funimation, one of three, and I do things like write emails and ads and mainly write the summaries for stuff. So I was responsible for like the recent One Piece 101 videos. I wrote the script for those, like for Frankie and Brooke and them. So yeah, that's me.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Important work.
Yeah, very important. Yeah, I couldn't do all that.
It's fun.
Yeah. And my name is Godswill Ugwa. I'm social media coordinator at Funimation. Been here for almost 4 years, and I would say One Piece is one of the titles that got me really started at the company. I managed the One Piece Twitter and the Facebook page that's on Facebook, of course. And just been doing a lot of One Piece related content throughout the years. Like I got a tattoo. Yeah,
that was dope.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of trying to have fun with One Piece.
We also have a very special guest. She's joining us as one of our patrons this week, although she's been on before. We have Joe, not to be confused with Jana. How's it going, Joe?
Hello, it's going pretty good.
Yeah, you've been on the Anime Recap, I think, before, right?
Yeah, a couple of times.
Sure. Yes, it's nice to have you on for the regular show. You two,
she helped set us our Discord up, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm illiterate with that.
Discord.
Yeah. So I do appreciate you doing that. And you too, if you're a Patreon subscriber and the higher end tiers, could join us either for the trivia segment or for the entire episode at patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. But before we get started, the anime is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. One of the many reasons I want to have Godswill and Jana on this week. Do you want to go through what you guys are doing?
Yeah, for sure. So one thing that we're doing on our pages is we're encouraging people to binge the One Piece anime with us. So, starting from episode 1 up to episode 325 for like newbies who might be scared of trying to binge everything in a full year, or up to the current episode by October 20th when is the anniversary date. We're also planning to do a lot of activities at the big cons like Anime Expo and New York Comic Con. So we have a lot of things coming up for that. And also we have some releases coming out too. So we just released some of the TV specials, like Adventure Nebulambula is coming out later on. We just released episode Sabo, and 3D2Y came out earlier this year.
Really enjoyed the dub of 3D2Y. I got to check that out.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the dubs of each of these. It's really good to hear everybody in this fresh role. And also for any news, I know a lot of people will be asking if there's any news. Unfortunately, there's not much that we can say at the moment. So all we can say is to stay tuned for hopefully some news that we can get, in conjunction with the licensor and all the parties involved.
Yeah.
And if you follow Jill, who's on our podcast frequently, she is currently doing a rewatch along with the hardcore route. She's posting on Twitter about that. Paratest Unluck. So she's got a Twitter thread going. Yeah,
okay.
The Sunny route. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's super cool. Like
the Sunny route.
Yeah,
called it,
I couldn't do that.
She's hardcore.
I would try, except I've been watching Dragon Ball Z for the last 6 months, and I'm almost done. I'm almost on Dragon Box 7. So
okay.
Yeah, he managed to acquire the Dragon Boxes, so he's.
Ooh.
Wow.
Okay.
I would not bet against Jill making it all the way.
She's at a quicker pace than I am, even with what I'm doing.
Man, that's hardcore. I would all the luck to you if you're doing the hardcore route. 22. It's supposed to be like 22 episodes a week, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's a lot.
If you cut out openings and endings, that's like 1 hour of a solid video.
That's some of the best parts, especially in the beginning, I say.
Yeah.
I kept replaying We Are, honestly, when I started my rewatch. Like, I would play it like 6 times every episode. I'm like, jeez, this is why I'm behind.
Like, marathon mode was invented for the One Piece DVDs, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
That was the first place I ever saw it.
Yeah, and then it gets a little weird because there's those prologue scenes in Water 7, so it gets really hard, and Enies Lobby, and so it gets really hard to skip.
Yeah, to time it right.
Yeah. So good luck to all of you guys doing the 20th anniversary 20th anniversary marathon, and follow along with Funimation for a lot more on that. And yeah, if you haven't, it's really cool to see a sneak peek into the future with Funimation's release of episode of Sabo, and always good to have more Foxy. I think, Steve, as you put it, more Dub Foxy in Nebulandia.
Yeah, I'm actually going to watch that special now.
Yeah, Foxy's probably one of my favorite parts about the One Piece dub, so it's great to see that.
TV specials are like the One Piece thing I probably watched the least.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't think I've watched most of these when they initially came out. I watched 3D2Y, but the other two I didn't. So good reason to watch those now. Steven, I know you've been playing it. I just want to hear, we're going to do a segment on it in the future at some point, but I want to hear your initial thoughts on One Piece World Seeker.
Yeah, actually, it's probably, if we had Sam on, he would be able to give you a better impression, because I think
he found Panda Man.
Yeah, he was showing off like the characters like Luffy with new costumes and stuff, and I was like, wait, you can get new costumes? Like, I haven't gotten that far in the game yet. I had one good session with it. I felt a little I don't want to say ripped off, but it was a little weird because I went and imported the Japanese version, because I was like, hey, why not just get the original. And I learned, so because it is a worldwide release, I guess they basically, like, the game is like it's the same game for all regions. Like the software program, the thing that you download is the same. Literally what it does is when you boot it up, it checks your account region, and it just loads that language for you already. And I mean, the voices are all Japanese. They didn't dub over anything. So like, because my PSN account, I would have to make a Japanese account, and then, all of the trophies and whatever the stuff that you unlock would be on a separate account than the one that I usually play on. So I was like, oh man, so I just kind of wasted that money for nothing. But it's fine. I've wasted it on worse things, but that was a bit confusing at first. But yeah, I'm not really that far to deliver like a proper kind of look at the entire game for first impressions, but it's a little mixed. You hear some good and some bad, and I would say that matches up with my initial experience with the game. But I'm looking for it. I can tell because you kind of run around this big island, this open world island, and you sort of find the other Straw Hats through the story, and then they unlock like sort of features of the game, so that you get to experience more stuff. And I just haven't really gotten that far yet, so I don't really. It's been a bit of a one-note experience so far, but that's just in the early going. So I'm eager to find out what else is in the game.
Okay, cool. So today we have a normal podcast episode as per usual. We're going to go through anime episode, what is it? 876, I believe.
That's right. I actually have the title this time.
Oh, wow. Okay, good. Perfect.
The man of humanity and justice, Jinbei, a desperate, massive ocean current. And the disrespect, he's a fishman. Proud fishman. Fishman of humanity. There you go.
What do you call that? Fishmanity?
Fishmanity.
Fishmanity. We're off to a strong start this week.
Fishmanity. It's a mammal.
And we also have chapter 936, Sumo Inferno, which everyone here will be joining us for. Ed, you had Sam on for the anime episode, and who else?
It was just me and Sam.
Okay, so check that out. We also have some Piece Together and trivia, so why don't we get started?
All right.
This is the manga recap for chapter 936, Sumo Inferno. Remember, you could read this chapter for free legally when it comes out at shonenjump.viz.com, on Manga Plus, or the apps, or on the web, really any of those places. So, Ed, what's going on this front page?
It's your favorite character, Zach.
Camel.
Camel the penguin, right? Yeah. It's Wanzi. It's Aokiji accidentally freezing Wanzi's bowl of ramen, and interesting that the requester used his military name and not his real name. The disrespect again.
Yeah, such disrespect.
Yeah.
This is probably one of my favorite of these so far, personally.
So I see Aokiji, like, even wearing the one glove on his right hand.
Yes, because he has lost it.
Yes. It's hard to tell if Wanzi is like shocked because his eyes are bugging out, or if he's just like that normally.
He's sweating, so I think he's like never seen that one before.
You should be talking.
I need to make this again now.
I guess we can also chalk Camel down for the people who crunch their ice, who chew their ice category, since he is
your favorite character, Zach.
Did we go through who on the podcast does that? Besides,
I think we did.
Yeah, we have, and I definitely chew my ice.
What does that say in the back there, Steven? On the below?
Those are
that's that's the menu. So you have ramen, chashu ramen, tsukemen, which is when they just give you the noodles and the broth and you dip them. There's also a pirate ramen. Not sure what that is. And then it looks like probably tonkotsu ramen, and that might be chahan, so that'd be fried rice.
Cool. Yeah, I do appreciate the artistry. The assistants rendering a nice kitchen there with like utensils and a rice thing and a pot and a pan and a bunch of eggs. There's like
why is Wanzi, a government employee, serving pirate ramen? Anyway,
I just have one more question. Zach, pronounce the character's name on the left.
Wanzi. Okay, Ed. I can't pronounce things. We've determined that.
No, Ed, I was gonna guilt trip Ed for it too, but it's Wanze, everybody. Wanze.
Oh, I was right the first time. Wanze. You made me second guess myself.
If you say any pronunciation confidently enough, it's right.
I learned that in law school. Ed, confidence.
Yeah.
Why don't you get started?
Sure. Back in the prison camp at Udon Wano, we get Raizo's loud thoughts. Kawamatsu, is it really you? So you are alive after all. And it's
loud whispering, I think, is what it is.
Yes, 13 years of eating rotten fish has finally paid off. I feel like this guy is having a laugh. Like, is he trying to be funny? Anyway, show me your face, Kawamatsu. He says, I can't get any closer. I'm chained up. When is the day of the battle? 9 days from now, the night of the fire festival. While this is going on, there's just sort of the hubbub of the prison, and they're starting to move the cart that he's hiding behind. So he's so wrapped up in this conversation, he doesn't even notice. It's like a Looney Tunes gag. So he says that is ideal. I am prepared to fight whenever I'm needed. But first, you must break me out of here, Raizo.
By the way, Raizo's also the loudest everything. He just stands out so much.
Just loud in general.
Yeah. Like, he's wearing this gigantic costume, and like the thing moves away from him, and he's just exposed. Of course, I will do my utmost. What will you need to escape? The key to the cage and the key to my cuffs. Though they are so rusted, I do not know if they will open. And then someone notices, hey, someone stand in front of that cell that never opens. It's him, Miss Solitaire. Found the key thief from the officer's tower. Don't let him escape. Dag blast it. Smoke escape jutsu.
It makes a fart noise, I assume.
It was a ninja.
There you go.
Search everywhere.
By the way, so I assume he sounds like Raizo sounds like that Will Ferrell character on SNL who can't control the volume of his voice. That's just my assumption. That's it. Voice imagine. Look, it's a real thing that doesn't really exist. Okay. go to the next page as we zoom back out and back into Udon. As you know, they say, okay, we'll leave the key thief to them, and someone else is hauling what looks like an arena and puts it down with a thwad.
It's a dohyo. It's the sumo ring. It's made out of clay.
Trying to make me feel bad. Is this what the?
No, I watched sumo for a couple of years, so I kind of know some stuff.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So we have Queen here, who looks satisfied with his walrus-like self, saying, we've got ourselves some fools to execute. And here begins his dance. It's Master Queen's special device performance, the Sumo Inferno. And everyone's
all his dancing
doing...
looks like Gangnam Style still to me.
Funky. That's what he was doing.
Or like the Running Man or something.
Yeah.
I know this is a podcast, but I'm doing the dance. And we see him, his subordinates dancing on the, what is it called again, Ed? Dohyo?
Dohyo.
D-O-H-Y.
So it's like a dojo, but with an H and a Y. Anyway, and Luffy
like
looks...
Hyo.
Oh, yeah. That's a good mnemonic device there. I'm still going to forget, though. Luffy looks, pumped for some sumo. Meanwhile, Hyo does not look pumped. But then here come the collars. And what are these collars? Well, good thing that you didn't ask about that, because Queen is going to tell you. These collars, he's singing it, but I'm not going to do that. He's saying the collars around their necks. Imagine if this stone pillar, which he has a stone pillar with some random stick figure-ish looking guy drawn on it, saying, imagine if this stone pillar is you, and then you leave this sumo ring. The stone proceeds to basically explode. Except that it's
Mr. Pill. Oh
no! So yeah, the stone pillar gone. Luffy does not look happy about this. Hyo is pretty stone-faced here. And Queen explains, the claws on the inside will deploy and slice your head right off your neck. And you see this really intimidating looking device. Thank you for the sound effect. And Luffy notes that it is just like the Celestial Dragon's collars. Good memory from Luffy, who I don't think has seen that in 2 years.
But also they use bombs, so it's not quite the same.
Yeah, it actually might be worse, because you don't have a chance to survive this. And in One Piece, explosions don't seem to kill people, so...
Yeah, nothing seems to kill people.
Yeah. I mean, for Luffy, this is worse, because it is sharp, and there's not very much he'd be able to do about it. Unless he, Hakifies his... I don't know. Anyway, he said, Queen says you could give that up. They're not made to be removable. That is a great translation of that. It's like, why would he make them to be removable? Isn't the whole point? Okay. Anyway.
Well,
Steven.
Look, not all uses of cuffs and collars are, negative. I'm just saying, role play is a thing. Anyway.
This is going to be an interesting podcast, I could tell already. Go ahead.
Queen continues with the terms of service here. He's, okay, all you have to do is just keep winning the matches. You just have to avoid falling off the arena, because then you die instantly. And he says you are a team of 2, so you will be executed. I'm not really sure if he is implying that they both have to fall before the things deploy, or if once both of them have fallen, then they will both be dead. But at any rate, the out for them is that if they surrender, then and agree to for Luffy to join the crew, then he will be freed. They don't seem to care about poor old man Hyo anymore.
Well, I guess they won't kill him, but that's about it.
Or maybe they. I don't know. Maybe they will. Yeah. But yes, the problem is they've got weapons, they've got the numbers, and they've got no collars. So essentially an infinite fighting force for the Sumo Inferno. So to make things more fair, he's going to remove the Sea Prism Stone Cuffs. And they have a little key there that clinks off the cuffs, which Raizo is watching from a distance. and is stunned because he worked so hard to get the key. It's like the one ninja thing that he succeeded in doing. And then, he didn't even get to deliver the key to do it. There go the cuffs. And then he wonders, wait, does that mean this isn't the key to free Luffy? Which I guess is Oda's way of telling us that there's only one key for each cuffs, apparently. So Luffy is celebrating because he can swing his arms around now, and he's like, "Oh man, thanks. You're a real stand-up guy. You basically freed me." And Queen is like, "Wait, no, what? The collar. Remember? Like it's worse. It's definitely worse for you now."
He's like, it's the same effect as when Bugs Bunny like looks at the camera and says, "He doesn't know me very well, do he?" Like it's it's different content, but it's the same idea.
It's also, I feel like I've seen the thing where he's like trying to convince himself, like, no, I'm doing this right. I am good at my job. I'm gonna let you two fight with sharks with laser beams attached to their heads. It'll go fine. Have fun. I'm gonna close the curtain.
It's still an ingenious plot, definitely. And Hyo is protesting because he doesn't want to hold Luffy back. So he is arguing to do it one at a time or tag team or something. And Luffy just cuts straight to the point. He's like, "Hey, Balloon." He's like, "Balloon? If I knock you out, will you set us free?" And he's like, "What? Okay, so first you're rude, and now you're also not listening to me." But then we get a bunch of these guys who, I guess this is the angle because it looks like they're walking up the steps of the dohyo, but they also kind of look like balloons from this angle. Very top heavy. A bunch of shirtless guys with swords. And, he'll see sense once we start, Master Queen. He just doesn't get how savage the rules are yet. Oh, there's a 0 chance of survival. So, we're just kind of hitting all the check marks on the list of like things that nobody say when the bad guys think they have the hero in a trap. So he says, "Okay, great. Well, we'll get into the ring and let's fight." And so the crowd is doing the what is this, Spartacus? Joaquin Phoenix giving the thumbs down.
Oh yeah, from Gladiator.
Gladiator, sorry, yeah, not Spartacus. Spartacus is the old one. So they're cheering for the death match, and they're saying "kill them all, waiters," which seems to be another one of the categories, like the gifters and the pleasures, and these guys are just the waiters.
Yeah, I'm looking for like by the looks of these guys, we need like a hunky waiters of Wano calendar.
Yeah. Well, they've been waiting for their shot. They haven't been introduced this entire time, and this is their finally their chance to shine in the Sumo Inferno. So yeah, look at this. There's all of us on stage here with you. We've got these weapons. Do you get it now? You're about to die.
Welcome to the jungle, baby.
Death march time. Line up. And everyone's just sneering and thinking that it's going to be a slaughter, but they don't know who Luffy is. But old man, he's like, "Oh, geez. Well, let's get with it." But the waiters, they get their call. On your mark. And some people who are rooting for the boys, they're thinking to themselves, "Rest in peace, old man Hyo and Straw Hat." But they don't know what's about to happen. And here's the call. Fight! Whip. I bet she's using a flag or something like that. I'm not sure. And then the waiters are rawr, and they're about to do their chants, and none of them have done leg day at all because they are top heavy, but none of them have legs. All laughing. Yeah. And there's the doom as they stomp towards. You prisoners are going to learn a very painful lesson about what happens when you defy the guards. Yeah. But then you got Luffy with his stare that just makes that sound. You know how tough it is. Ring. And you can hear that stare, I think. Ring. And everyone's just passing out.
It's one of those things. What is it? When you see a picture that has a noise, like you know what it sounds like.
Like an onomatopoeia, but for pictures, I guess.
Yeah.
I love that stare. I've been waiting for Luffy to use this conquer haki for a long time.
I think they had to take the cuffs off for him to do it.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I mean, also just like in general, I think it's been a while since he did it in Whole Cake, but I would like to see him do it more often.
When in Whole Cake, I'm like trying to even remember.
When he was fighting
the army, right?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did it. Yeah, on Flampe and.
Yeah, I was gonna say Flampe and her. What did we call them? I don't even know.
Didn't he do it against Katakuri too, or something?
No, he does it like with Katakuri. Like,
I was gonna say.
Really mad.
Didn't he do it with the monkey or the gorilla and the dog lion when he first?
Oh
came?
Yeah. Good call. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Maybe I'm just forgetting all the other times.
No, it's such a brief moment.
Yeah, I like that he does conquer hockey often. Well, he does it to these waiters, and they get knocked out. They're passing out. They're choking on their vomit. And they can't handle this, and their bodies are hitting the floor. Thwomp, thwomp, but thwomp. That's what happens when you're top heavy like that.
Yeah, they skip leg day.
Yeah,
they learned from Kaido. Like, the man does not, care about leg day in his crew.
That's true.
It's also how Oda draws them, because Bellamy's like that too.
Yeah.
He didn't used to be like that. Yeah. Who has good legs? Sanji has good legs.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's a good one.
Sanji's all leg.
Yeah, I was going to say. He skipped arm day.
So then Luffy's like, okay, who's next? These guys aren't even good for practice. And everyone's still passing out, doing their foaming at the mouth. And prisoners who are rooting for them, like, what? And not everyone that's in the stands are like, what was he using? Yeah. And then Queen's like, Supreme King Haki, huh? I bet he has like a good tenor voice. That's what I'm, putting my chips on.
He could really be. They could go in any direction with his voice. I am not sure. Yeah.
Also, I've been wondering like how his sing-song voice is, or if he's like if he's using like any particular songs in mind, like any Queen songs too.
I hope
That's what I feel like they're gonna go for in the anime.
Something like Don't Stop Me.
Yeah.
They might do that, but he also was doing like the funka dance, so maybe like even like Isaac Hayes or what's his name?
That's more of a bass though.
Yeah. No, who's the guy from Whacking Day in The Simpsons?
Barry White.
Barry White. That's how I relate to these things.
I would love it if Queen had a bass voice. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
And then we go back to the cage that has never been opened, and we just get some ... I'm not exactly sure what that sound is. Is it like a scream? I guess it's the screams from the
arena,
from the stands.
Yeah.
Things have been very noisy since he showed up. Just don't let Boss Hyogoro die. Understand? We need him, Luffy Taro. And I'm not exactly sure what this laugh is or this sound. Kappa pa pa pa.
So Joey was very excited about this. Joey,
yeah,
I am too.
This is Kawamatsu's laugh, and I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I think that it, either in appearance or like in Devil Fruit or something or other, he is going to be a kappa. It
water explains why they silhouetted him.
Ooh.
Right.
Also, I just noticed in the silhouette on the middle panel, it like his head looks flat, like the kappa head.
Is that like his profile?
Well, yeah. Some of them do wear the hats too, the casa style. So that could be it, or it could be the flat-ish head. It's hard to say for sure, but yeah, the other thing too is that kappas famously, like, they live in the river, not in the sea. So the kawa on his name, Kawamatsu, meaning river. Yeah, that's really exciting. And then we still don't see him yet, so I'm like, oh boy, Oda must have some kind of design cooked up for this guy, because
cool details.
I don't know, guys. I still think it's killer.
Wait, I am looking. So I looked kappas up on Wikipedia, as one would do, and there's an ukiyo-e painting of a man farting into a kappa's face in order to defend against it. I kid you not. An ukiyo-e painting.
No, I know. Yeah, the farting ukiyo-e is a very famous series of.
Oh my god! I need to buy those.
It went viral on the internet a few years ago.
They also think that's where your soul is.
Yeah, that's one of the other things is that the kappa he
oh no
like they remove your soul, which is supposed to be like a little ball, and they do it by sticking the hand right because it's supposed to be like in your gut. So that's what when you're at the riverside. Watch out.
Jeez.
I have 2 points about this, and I know we're getting off track, but we always do. First, Oda's definitely drawing that. Second, and I don't know who here is going to be our Japanese culture expert, but I know there's that really terrible things that kids do where they put the the fingers up the butt of like a teacher or something that Greg has told me that this is a thing that happens.
Yeah, that's the concho.
So is that related to this at all, or are they just two completely different butt fascinations of Japanese people?
I think that's just it.
Okay. Just try. Ed, why don't we move on and go to less lewd material here?
Hey, all right. The bathhouse. Anyway, flower capital, bathhouse. This is a raid. A bathhouse is the perfect place to hide. And someone says, that's Hawkins, the headliner from the Animal Kingdom Pirates. I don't know. Nobody move. And Drake from the Toby Ropo is outside too. Why are they here at the bathhouse? And Hawkins sort of strides in confidently with all his men. And he has to peek back outside and say, what are you doing, Drake? Get inside. Drake is like, my job is to eliminate some idiot named Soba Mask. You go ahead and handle the small stuff. And
in case this layout was confusing at all, since I can imagine for some people it probably was. If you look carefully, you can see that the symbol on the curtain is reversed between the two panels, so that's how you can tell one is inside and one is outside.
And Drake is standing. He's like, he's got this huffy posture. He's like breathing like he doesn't want to go in. He doesn't even want to look at it. But back inside, Nami and Shinobu and Robin are there. And Nami says, what should we do, Shinobu? I'm sure they know about us. It's no fair that they'd go after us where we're most vulnerable. And Shinobu says, take cover behind my back. And Robin's like, should we fight? And, Basil Hawkins, the pervert, says, everyone form a line and show us your feet.
Oh, those would be more wholesome pages.
Yeah. Quentin Tarantino over here.
Yeah, Rob Liefeld's just in a corner crying.
Yeah, actually, no. The waiters were Rob Liefeld characters.
Yeah,
very top heavy. And Hawkins continues. We are arresting anyone here who has the mark of a waning crescent moon on their ankle. I want everyone out here, even the ones in the bath. And Nami says, oh, no, how does he know about that? Search them. Yes, sir. And Shinobu close up, and Robin sprouting an eye on Shinobu's hair. You see the plan is leaked. There's someone hiding back there. Ah, shit. Or shoot, I mean. As Hawkins' gaze sort of snaps over to where Shinobu is. We can't, from his perspective, we can't see Nami, but I guess you can feel her there. The next page.
Steve.
And I'll just continue doing Ed Hawkins' voice, like, show yourself, as he flips his sword, his actual sword. And
no, the other one was swing.
Yeah. And Robin braces herself. God forbid we see Robin fight. She says, I got your back if anything happens, Nami. And she's like, sorry, I wasn't trying to hide. I'm just simple anime girl just walking by in the bathhouse. Don't mind me. As the sword just kind of... Does the sword interact with her at all? Because I'm taking the sword kind of just comes to a stop.
I think it's going in on her, but the towel is in the process of coming undone in that panel.
Swish.
Right. And Hawkins, he knows his adversaries in the New World very well, because he's like, that woman, and the towel sloops off her naked body. We have onlookers of all shapes and sizes, just in love. What a national treasure! As just Nami is like, behold Nami in all her wondrous glory.
To be fair, there are men and women responding in that ridiculous way. Anyway, go
ahead. As the towel flaps to the floor, yes, causes major amounts of blood loss in the bathhouse. As Nami's exposed here, but she quickly covers up. Eek. Shinobu says, "Utter destruction." And we hear, "I can't take it. Happiness punch!" As big kaboom knocks, and that's just this.
I'm just getting that now that he says that.
Yeah, he's the one that says it because Sanji remembers the Alabasta arc very well.
Yeah.
But a glurp, a gallon of blood, just sends a man many ways back, crashing into parts of the bathhouse as we see someone covering a child's eyes. As people gather around this unconscious, bloody man. I says, "What? I saw him the other day. It's Soba Mask." As he's muttering, he's covered in blood. You could covered in gray blood all over his nice black costume. But he's like, "Oh, no, Nami's ample, bountiful, curvaceous."
Like, was that purposely ABC?
Yeah, I kind of, he could probably keep going if he wanted to.
D is for the way she. And I think this is the first. Is this the first time Robin and Nami have seen this costume? Because they know right away whose MO this is. As a Sanji, why are you here? And Nami's like, "What's with that outfit? Is this like a joke?" Completely underselling just how cool Soba Mask is.
Yeah, not all the other ridiculous things.
I think Sanji's doing a good enough job of that on his own.
Meanwhile, on the outside, Diaz Drake is that the sound of someone saying Soba Mask?
Drake has a special ability where he could hear anyone say Soba Mask.
I was like, that sounds like this. That sounds like the sound of someone yelling out the name of the person I'm looking for. As one of his cronies says, "Sounds like he's inside."
So at this point, this is when Drake rushes in, says, "Hey, where's Soba?" And he sees a beautiful, probably naked woman in there and falls over. Because apparently he cannot handle the sight. Who is it? Hawkins saying, "If you're weak to the sight of a woman's body, just say so." He says, "I'm not weak." And then so Nami and Shinobu trying to get out of there. Luckily, they've found some clothes. That's good. Let's get out of here while we can. And then Basil says, "You're from the North Blue, aren't you, Drake?" So are you. What of it? That's Germa 66's stealth black. So apparently, Basil and Drake, they both just know who Germa 66 is. They recognize stealth black, who's apparently
they're both from North Blue. They're all three of these guys.
Everyone is from North Blue, apparently.
That's a reunion. Yeah.
Who doesn't know who Stealth Black is? He's like the best, apparently. The real thing. And then Sanji finally shakes out of his stupor from being knocked out by Nami's destructive forces and heads out with Nami, Robin, and Shinobu flying away with his Tower of Science. Let's just get out of here for now. Trust me, it'll take too long to explain. He's really flying high. He's like way over the town, actually. And everyone's shouting, "After them! They escaped through the air!" And Robin asks, "Did you lose too much blood?" And of course, Sanji says, "I could die happy right now." We know you could, Sanji, we know. So it's no good that they learned about the ankle tattoos. And there's one other bad piece of information. Okay, Sanji knows something here. Beppo and his friends have been captured. So, yeah, Law's dudes, they've been captured somehow. I think this is the first we're hearing of it. They want to use them to lure out Traffy. We need to get him under control. I guess they want to interfere before Law finds out about it and gets upset. Or the entire city will plunge into chaos. I think probably Nami is asking, and you were doing what during all of this?
God. Good point.
Fair.
Yep.
Important reconnaissance.
Yeah.
I'm wondering. Traffy is usually so calm, so I'm wondering why specifically they think that's gonna destroy the entire city. Anyway, Joe, finish us off.
So meanwhile, in the land of Ringo and Wano, I found you. Done running away, eh? For coming straight after me. You sure took a while to get here. Shut up! So here we see this big, hulking soldier dude with a bunch of weapons on his back. He says, the famed Shushui has already been returned to where it belongs. It was most callously stolen from the grave of the legendary samurai of Yuma. And Zoro says, I know that. And then the warrior says, then be smart and turn back, or else I would take the other 2 katana on your belt as well. Zoro asks him, you a weapon collector? What do you need all those weapons for? As it happens, we could use a whole bunch of them right now. This is a stroke of luck. I think your weapon collection, and he draws a sword, and they stare each other down, and then they clash, is going to a new home. Not if I strike you down first, bandit.
So yeah, that ends the chapter very differently. What a journey this chapter was. Before we end, just a few things, or before we go through our thoughts. Steven, this guy looks like I've seen this guy in like Japanese mythological stuff. What is he supposed to look like? Do you know?
Well, there's some of the I guess facets of this character that we can make out bear a strong similarity to a historical figure. I'm not sure if he's an actual figure or if it's more of a legendary figure, but there is a person named Benkei who was a warrior. I believe he served, or he like found the good graces of Minatomo no Yoshitsune, who was one of the old, I don't know, lords or emperors or something. This is probably, I think, somewhere between like the 9th to the 12th century AD or so. So
yeah, I'm looking right now.
Yeah, real old. Yeah. Before the shogunate and before the warring states and all of that stuff. And he was famous for like hating, I guess, like loose, like Ronin style warrior, like bandits. And that he fits. He made it like his goal to defeat them and steal back their fine weapons and to collect a bunch of them before he died. And he guarded a bridge. And that is where I think he met Yoshitsune, or that's where he decided to set up his defense. And he's actually been mentioned once before in One Piece, not in the story itself, but in the author's notes, because he famously was in a battle where he was holding the line and they shot him full of arrows from a distance. And he died in the battle, and then they came back and found him still standing dead with all of the arrows in him. And so that's like it's like the death pose of Benkei or something like that. That's what they call it in Japanese. And so that refers to dying on your feet and staying there. And so Oda, compared Whitebeard's death to that, and it was in his author comment, I think, around that time. Yeah, and he used a like a halberd style thing like this, like I forget if it's
Whitebeard used the same thing, didn't he?
Yeah, it's like the long pole arm with the curved blade on the end. So
halberd or something like that.
Yeah, kind of an Asian halberd. And so that's we don't know this character's name yet, obviously. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is Benkei, or if Oda is just kind of using that kind of template as the model for a character, and he's going to call him something else. But at any rate, that's very strongly what he is evoking here with this guy.
It says it was also the subject of a 1952 Akira Kurosawa movie called "The Men Who Tread on the Tiger's Tail."
And apparently, he had 7 weapons: broadaxe, a rake, a sickle, a wooden mallet, a saw, an iron staff, and a half-moon spear. How many of those do we see in the background there?
I mean, we see
the
bunch
rake.
Of different. Yeah, I think the idea being that he has all kinds of weapons and he's kind of a master of all of them. So
I see the hammer. That's pretty cool. Trying to find those 7 there.
I did hear somewhere that he was on some sort of Benkei was on some sort of mission to collect, or he collected like 999 weapons from people who he thought weren't worthy of owning these weapons, and then it was on the 1000th one that he lost to some guy, and then therefore became his follower.
Oh wow!
Yeah, after collecting 999 swords, yeah, that was it. So. I don't know. I wonder if, is Zoro going to defeat him?
I mean,
well, it definitely looks like it's a more even match than Zoro usually gets. Just like to start this one little clash here.
I like the detail too. I didn't really notice this the first time, but looking at it now, that like the markings on his face, I think that's actually facial hair, because it like overlaps the edges of his like cowl that he's wearing. So I guess that's like his beard and his mustache, which is
I've definitely seen figures that have that face. That's a different thing than Benkei, I guess, because the pictures of Benkei I'm seeing don't look quite like that.
Oh, anyway. The one on the far left is called a Sasumata, the 2-prong thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, we'll do a separate podcast on all the weapons that he has on his back. Jonna, let's start with you. What did you think of this chapter?
Oh man, so many things. It's a really cool chapter, really fun. I mean, one thing that I when I was first reading through it, one thing that really caught my attention was let me see what page it was. I've been thinking about this a lot. It was page 4 and 5 when you see Luffy down there at the bottom, like in his pose. So I've been noticing this whole arc, how Luffy's just shirtless this whole time. And it really is something that we don't see a lot. We don't see Luffy completely shirtless most of the time. Oda usually gives him some sort of outfit. And I've been thinking to myself, like, first of all, that's weird. Why is he doing that? And second, why is Luffy so beefy? I
noticed it was obvious. Yeah.
He's so hunky.
He's a beefcake right now, and it just caught me by surprise, because in the scene when he's sitting there with his hands cuffed and he's flexing and everything, it hit me. It's because he looks a lot like Ace. I wonder if Oda is intentionally drawing him to make him look more and more like Ace, because he is kind of playing the role that Ace kind of would have been here, saving everyone, and if Ace had returned to Wano. So that was one thing that just caught my eye. I was like, why is he beefy? And that's my little theory on it. But also, in one thing I also wanted to ask you guys, it was someone several episodes back on the podcast had mentioned that anything is possible in One Piece except for tentacle porn. And I wanted to ask about the previous step when we see the octopi scrubbing down Nami and Robin. Is anyone going to take back that statement?
Who said that?
It was episode 539. If you want to figure it out, I don't remember who it was.
That's a while ago, so
but someone
I'll
said
go
it.
back to the tapes. I'll try and figure that out before. Well, I don't know when the hell we would have said that. So.
I mean, what was that? You guys, or maybe I heard it somewhere else. But either way, it's been stated.
No, it sounds like something one of us would say. Yeah,
I would think so. But anyway, that's a theory, and now it's I don't know.
I mean, we are often wrong, so I am fine saying we seem to have been wrong. I don't know how to feel about that.
I don't know. I've heard this somewhere, so
yeah.
No, this is a very upfront establishment. There's none of that going on behind closed doors at this bathhouse. It's a very clean enterprise.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. It's very, very proper.
Wait, it's Steven, it's co-ed. Anyway.
That's so weird to me.
I know.
That is bizarre. Yeah.
That was bizarre to me.
Do they even, I'm not going to ask even. Any other thoughts, Jonah?
No. I mean, I'm good. Those are my two main things.
God's Will.
Yeah. So much happened this episode. Like we're almost like, towards the end, I forgot that Luffy has already started this fight, like that he's about to go into like this tournament arc, I think, or I don't know, maybe it's not going to last that long, but yeah, I'm pretty excited to see like how that's going to go. I remember like the last episode you guys mentioned like how you guys don't like Sanji being a perv, and usually I agree with that. Like I hate him, especially like during like Fisherman Island, like being a perv, like that got in the way all the time. But this scene right here actually cracked me up a lot. I don't know why this particular one, but I think maybe it's sort of him being able to realize his dream from Thriller Bark when he wanted that invisibility, and he got super angry that he couldn't have invisibility anymore. But then now it's, he's living out his dream, even though it is horrible. I think it just sort of cracked me up that it's like, yeah, you're finally doing what you want, man. Do it. And then what else? I'm really excited to see. I mean, just hearing you guys talk about Benkei has got me more hyped for this particular fight that's about to happen with Zoro. Like, I really haven't been feeling too much about Zoro for this particular arc, which has been a little strange. I usually love Zoro doing his thing, but this particular arc, I don't know, it just sort of felt a little flat to me. But now seeing him come in contact with this particular guy has got me hyped up. So I love this whole chapter right here.
Let's go to Steven.
All right. Yeah, I was I don't know, I guess I'm a little lukewarm on this chapter. Although I think there's some great stuff. I was a little disappointed that it has an awesome catchy name like Sumo Inferno, and there's no actual sumo wrestling in this chapter, because I really love the fight that Luffy had with Urashima in the town when they were doing all the sumo stuff. That I think that was one of the most fun scenes of this arc so far. And I think obviously this is just the first stage. We're setting up for, I think, Luffy and Queen to do some sumo wrestling. But it felt a little bit like, okay, yeah, this is, like I said, we're kind of checking off the checklist of like bring all these nameless schlubs in there to taunt him and deliver all the usual like, oh, you're never gonna survive, and then he instantly knocks them out. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's it's kind of a necessary step for what Oda set up, but it did feel a little bit like going through the motions. But the seeing him use the hockey was fun. To have Luffy like a step closer to freedom with his cuffs off is nice, and definitely the last little bit with Kawamatsu laughing, doing the kappa laugh, definitely got me hyped up. I can't wait to see what he does with that character. The bathhouse scene, yeah, like last week when you guys were saying like, oh well, yeah, I guess it's some obligatory fan service. Thank God that Sanji wasn't there, and I really had to just bite my tongue to be like, oh, I don't know what you're gonna think about next week. I guess I think that like from a functional standpoint, beyond just like, okay, Sanji gets to make use of this power just so we get it out of the way, because that's what he was going to use it for. But I think it was also setting up like Hawkins and Drake seeing him, or at least as the Germa 66 figure. And so I think that's like Oda was setting up something there. But I honestly, I would have appreciated a little bit of a wrinkle in the gag, because it just sort of felt like, again, it was like, okay, yep, there he goes. He did the blood spurt, but this time he's in costume. I guess that's really the only difference. So yeah, I don't know. It didn't really do a whole lot for me as far as like the gag part of it. But I also the last line there when Nami's like, what were you doing with all of this emergency happening? I thought that was pretty funny though. And then yeah, the thing with Benkei was really cool. I liked that Ringo is shown snowing. So, similar to the United States, it seems like Wano, anywhere you go, one place it's snowing and the other place it's like 90 degrees. And you never know what kind of weather you'll get in these different areas. So I think Oda's definitely like, he's doing the whole Japanese seasons thing with these regions where each one has a different look, and that's kind of cool. So I hope we get a little bit more time with Zoro and this guy, since it feels like we've gotten like one page at most for most of his scenes. So maybe now that we're actually getting somewhere, that Zoro's either going to recruit this guy, or he's going to either give them a bunch of weapons or going to help them recruit a bunch of samurai or something. I feel like it's going to pay off. And so I hope we get to see a little bit more of Zoro than just like one set of pages at a time. Cause he's been, I agree with Godzilla. He's been a little bit shortchanged this arc so far. So let's get some more Zoro.
Agreed. Joe, thoughts on the chapter? Yeah,
I thought this chapter was pretty right. I was just rereading the bit with Zoro, and I didn't realize that in the text bubble was like coming straight after you. It sounds like Zoro was looking for Benki. So it's like, it makes me think if Zoro heard about Benki from somewhere and thought like to go steal his weapons for their war.
Yeah, I was curious about something too. Did we actually see Zoro's sword get stolen? Because this guy's reclaimed Shusui. We haven't seen any of that, so it's just sort of referenced as happening.
Wasn't that at the beginning when we first saw Zoro and Wano? Because they had him on trial and they took Shusui away.
Yeah. Okay.
She's right. Yeah,
that's right. But I need to go back to the beginning of Wano.
But he was running off to catch the thief like last chapter when Yasu saw him. So that's my assumption, was that he, like, Benkei had come along and stolen it, and Zoro just ran after him, and this is where he finally tracked him down.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That was my interpretation.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I really liked the Luffy parts. I've just really liked Luffy throughout the whole Wano arc. I'm excited to see him just throw down with all these smile users, try those dudes, and I'm excited for Kawamatsu.
Do you think that Queen is going to throw in the smile users first and then go, or do you think it's just going to go straight to Queen?
I don't know. He seems like a guy who has fun. Like, I'm not sure if he's that serious that he would just get right to it.
It might also be like an off-camera thing, that Luffy just beats, because he's gonna beat them. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's no.
Yeah, I know it's no fun, but yeah.
It would be pretty funny just to go, like, just come back to Luffy and just a pile of bodies just surrounding him. It's like, we can't get him.
Yeah, I wouldn't think they'd go through the trouble of putting the ring on him, like the collars, if we weren't going to get to see at least a good bit of the action.
Yeah.
Joe, any other? Yeah, go ahead. Any other thoughts?
I'm curious to see what happens with the Heart Pirates. I mean, I feel like everyone knows they're my favorite, or one of my favorites. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a fan. I'm especially a fan of Law's crew, so I'm sure they'll be fine. But I'm curious as to what happened and how they got caught and where they are at the moment. It's an interesting thread.
Penguin X Shachi for life.
Yes, Ed knows me. Steve.
It was a fun chapter. Has its moments. Kind of glad we're out of the bathhouse now. It's It's happened. We let it happen.
Did that happen again?
I do like the callback. I think actually calling back to that moment in the Alabasta bathhouse made me take this a lot less seriously. I'm like, this has happened before, so nothing already everybody hasn't seen. I do like now Drake's weird quirk of he's shy. Oh, he's like maybe hopefully like a less extreme version of Paulie.
Yeah.
If you guys remember that, he was all like, all these women in these mini skirts. While Drake is just like, oh my, I'll be outside.
I need to lay down.
Yeah.
You're so innocent.
I wonder if he'll get a new fan base now because the girls will think he's cute and modest.
Is he like the male version of a tsundere or something?
Well, tsundere is all like, I don't care if you're naked.
Okay.
I do like also callbacks because putting these collars on Luffy was a big deal, but as soon as Queen was just like, oh, you're gonna have to compete in sumo, and Luffy's like, awesome. Like, Luffy's not scared at all because Luffy already beat the Yokozuna of Wano.
Steve, it's exactly like Homer's punishment in hell with the donuts. It's like, oh, you're gonna punish me.
Yes.
By doing sumo. I mean,
I was actually watching that episode of DBZ where Boo breaks into a bakery and sits at the end of the conveyor belt. I think that's where the Simpsons.
It's the same joke. Yeah. I guess that was before the Simpsons did it. Wow. Or was it the same time? It might have been around the same time.
He is old. Yeah.
It was like 94. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that when was season 4 of the Simpsons? That was season 4 of the Simpsons, right?
93, I think.
Ooh, that was like the same exact time. That's a little
Pretty
weird.
Much.
Yeah. Anyway, Steve, we interrupted.
I do love the look of this guy, this weapons dude confronting Zoro. I didn't know Zoro didn't have Shusui. I thought he still had it.
I was a little confused about that.
Yeah.
Yes, they mentioned it quickly last week. Or was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah, it was a very offhand
thing.
Same?
Oh, by the way, Beppo and his friends have been captured. It's like, oh, by the way, the Shusui has been stolen.
Basically, maybe even
now
less
here's
obvious.
our Nami.
It's a gag chapter. Like, there's so many gags.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like Hawkins and Drake being used more and acting like One Piece characters. It's going to make me like these characters more. I like when One Piece doesn't take itself so seriously. So it was fun. It was fun chapter.
Ed, yeah.
As I said, I really enjoyed the gags in this chapter, like the rolling away the cart, all the Raizo gags. Luffy just being so happy to be like let out of handcuffs. He's like, "Oh man, you're great. I'm gonna win." Putting Luffy in like mortal danger. It's interesting to see like he looks so much more. He's very confident here. He seems more mature, I guess. Maybe that's just because he has a shirt off.
The word you're looking for is beefy.
Is beefy.
Yeah.
Beef.
Beefy D. Luffy.
Beefy D. Luffy.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And I'm glad that we I was really dreading like the bathhouse stuff after last week, but they actually made it like it's over quickly, and like the men are like the punchlines. Like Sanji has a ridiculous nosebleed, and he still gets to be a little bit cool because he like rescues them out of there, and like Hawkins and Drake doing like a straight man funny man bit of like Drake being this sort of he's basically afraid of girls. Drake is, and Hawkins is like, "Come on, man, you can't do this. What's wrong with you?" And just getting those gags. I'm excited for the Kawamatsu. There's a lot of intrigue there. Like I still can't help but feel like things are moving a little bit slowly, and there's an extent to which I wish we would focus on one thing per chapter. But we're still sort of setting things up, so I guess we get to get that kind of focus later on. I'm curious to see how they figured out about like the plan, who leaked the crescent moon thing.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
It's the work of Crescent Moon Gary.
Yeah, no, that's really
I watched
foreboding.
that for the first time. I watched that movie for the first time not too long ago, and
was it Romance Dawn?
No, was that wait? Wasn't he the villain in the first movie?
No.
He was in Romance Dawn. Didn't they do a special though?
Yeah,
way
like
back.
The 40th anniversary one.
Yeah.
That was like 10 years ago. It was along with like the Sun Goku.
Vegeta has a brother.
Yes, Tarble. That was that two set of specials.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, excited for Zoro. Not really like I want to see him have a cool fight, and we get to have one like early in the arc. I'm excited for that, and hopefully he gets to have another cool fight afterwards. Because
hopefully it's not off screened.
Well, yeah, there's that, but like he has had not many like strenuous hard fights at all. He's been too strong like since the time skip. Like he's like blown through everyone who's challenged him, and like we're on a Sword Island. What are you gonna? How are we gonna have Zoro not like have multiple fights and then he's got to lose at some point?
We're on Sword Island.
Yeah.
I think Wano will be the spot, but I don't think it'll be this guy.
No.
I agree. I would like to see this be a little bit of like a challenge. Maybe not a struggle, but a challenge.
You have to play Zoro in slobber knocker mode and just run the gauntlet, and eventually he's going to lose.
Yeah.
Ed, help me out here.
Sounds like a video game thing.
Anything else, Ed?
No, that's it. What do you got, Zach?
Yeah, no, I'll give my 2 cents. I'm like, this was a very, to excuse the pun, beefy chapter.
A lot of beef in here.
A lot of beef in here. There's a lot of meat. There's definitely, it felt like 3 completely distinct chapters. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it's a good thing. It's like we get 3 for the price of 1. So I'll go through each of my 3 quickly. The first was my favorite, because I love Luffy. No, but I think we mentioned last week.
Luffy,
it's like
I'm home.
Luffy, what have you done?
Did you knock out all these guys? So
nah, I used my hockey. Oh, Luffy. Wait, who's talking to Luffy? I got lost in this in this bit.
Anyway, where were we? So yeah, no, I think we were mentioning how Luffy is like who's your favorite to see in a particular chapter, and Luffy is always, at least always in this arc, is whenever I see him, I'm excited to see what is happening in the chapter. I'm more invested, I feel like, than especially the middle section of this. Yeah, Luffy definitely has grown up here, and but at the same time, right after that Beefy page, when he gets his right after he gets his handcuffs off, he's doing that ridiculous little dance there, like, hey, look at me, I got these off. Oh, you're really nice. Being normal old Luffy. So yeah, he's just Luffy, but he's been working out a little more. He didn't skip arms day, or legs day. I guess maybe skip legs day. I don't know. Yeah, but I love all of that. Queen, I have been a fan of. Nothing new in this except for the Kawamatsu thing, which now I'm super excited for after the farting thing that we discussed this week. So now I'm psyched, because I could always go for a good fart joke. Anyway,
Punk Hazard's your favorite arc.
That's what I've always said. There's a lot of gas in that. Anyway, Drake, I did like the additional character trait of him being shy. Hawkins is just the mood killer guy. He's just like, okay, everyone, do this.
He's their law.
Show me your feet.
He could say something like that, and yet it still be kind of just lame. That is Hawkins for you. Sanji, you know my thoughts. But the Zoro and we'll call him Benkei for now. That stuff I'm super excited for. I love that character design. I love learning everything we learned about him. Thank you, Steven, this week. And the fact that might be facial hair is also pretty damn awesome. Also, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I love winter islands and just winter settings in general. Even though I'm sick of it here, I I love it in One Piece especially, and some of like that's. I probably like Punk Hazard more because it took place in a winter landscape for the most part. So this will be cool. I think in the anime it'll also be cool because that white aesthetic. It's kind of that the Force Awakens thing, you know. It just
or
it looks,
Kill Bill at the end of
Kill Bill, yeah, at the end of the first volume.
I just also want to say that I love that Benkei has a big, bright Irish rose red nose for St. Patrick's Day.
It's cold. It's cold there. Okay, his nose is running a little bit. It happens to all of us. Yeah, so I enjoyed this chapter. Not like the best of Wano, but it was, as I said, beefy. So with that, why don't we go into the next segment? Oh, actually, before we do, God's Will and Jana, you want to tell people where they could contact you since you're going to be headed off?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Well, I don't really get out there on social media too much. I tend to be a bit more private. So Smart. I do have one public-facing account, which is Poodacat Cosplay on Instagram. You can find me there, reach out to me if you have any questions about Funimation, what we do. That's all good. So that's me.
Yeah. And then I am on Twitter and Instagram. I finally changed my name to be something more professional, I guess. So it's my full name, Godswill Ugwa Jr. on Twitter and Instagram. And then also I run the One Piece pages on Facebook and Twitter. So that'll be One Piece Anime on Twitter and then One Piece Official on Facebook, the one with the blue check mark. And please check that out. Follow the page. We've been doing a lot with this binging series. We're doing the Mary's binge on the Twitter page, and I tried to put something out from each episode. And then on the Facebook page, we just have a lot of fun with it.
Okay, cool. Joe, you had one more thing you want to say?
Yeah, so Steve mentioned about Luffy's collar, and it made me think. So in Sabaody, he mentions the Celestial Dragon collars, and in Sabaody, Rayleigh actually removes his collar and Kami's collar somehow, and they don't actually explain how that happened. So I thought, wouldn't it be kind of cool if like it's something to do with hockey, and he somehow taught Luffy how to do it? So it's like after Luffy beats all the guys, he's just like rips the collar off, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. And maybe that's why he was celebrating that. Yeah, you let me go.
Yeah, exactly. Like he can use hockey now, so.
I guess he doesn't see a purpose to take it off until he's done. Yeah, that's a cool idea. So yeah, Godswill and Jana, thank you guys for coming on. Hope to have you back again soon, especially. For sure. Yeah, especially as the marathon ends, which is in July, right? For the anniversary. Right?
No, it ends in October 20th.
October. Oh, that makes more sense, actually. I was thinking of the manga. But yeah, cool. Thanks for coming on. And let's go into some anime.
All right.
This is the anime recap for episode 876, Man of Humanity and Justice, Jinbei, a desperate massive ocean current.
Fishman. Sorry.
I'm your host Sam, and today we have, as you can hear, we have our good friend Ed.
Hey there.
The title card for this episode begins at 3 minutes and 59 seconds. We get a little series of reactions from the Charlotte kids watching the Sunny burn to flames.
There's a lot of still backgrounds and panning in the first half of this episode.
Yeah, the Queen Mama Chanteur is bearing down on us this whole time. It looks just massive.
They got this new way that they like CGI the ocean all the time that I kind of like the way it looks. It's kind of bright and sort of I like that, but it does sort of highlight that there's a lot of just still shots of boats and islands in this episode. Although they do rise to an emotional climax by the end of it. But,
yeah, I thought this episode was pretty surprisingly good looking throughout. Like wherever there is stillness, it never felt egregious.
Yeah.
We have Pearl and Big Mom. Big Mom is still just like in bliss from the cake. She's got hard eyes. She's like laying on her back. just like daydreaming about how good the cake was. This really like old school like chime music comes in.
I feel like it was from like East Blue flashbacks. This is old music.
Yeah. Paris Sparrow's just watching her like, what did they put in that cake?
So weird by the end of this episode to see Big Mom just acting normally.
Yeah.
Like the way she was when she first appeared.
Paris Sparrow's saying, Mama, you're our captain, so I have to inform you. And he's trying to catch her up on the whole Straw Hats are dead, Bedge escaped. We come back to everyone huddled around this burning ship, and they're starting to realize that it is not the Thousand Sunny that's burning. It's actually the Sun Pirate ship. And then we get a little flashback of...
It's funny that the person who notices is Moscato, Minister of Gelato. Him and his weird pastel hair.
We have a little flashback of explaining what happened for the audience. Wadatsumi, from beneath the ocean, just like grabbed the Sunny, pulled it down, and swapped it out with the Sun Pirate ship, which they went out of their way to remind us is like Fisher Tiger's ship, which makes it a little extra sad.
Yeah, I did not remember that from the manga. Although it does it's kind of weird, familiar. Like yeah, it's kind of weird when they get pulled, the Sunny gets pulled under and like people just sort of stay with the boat, even though they're not holding on to anything.
Yeah.
Like it could have tightened that up a little bit.
There's some laws of physics that I
think. With all the devil fruit users too. Like I get like Jinbei is looking unbothered by it, but
yeah. Oh, I mean you see like Brooke like choking on his non-lungs.
Right.
So, there's this really great shot. Like while everyone's underwater, there's this like the camera's kind of zooming past like Nami and then Sanji and then Carrot. Like I pointed it out because it was in the next episode preview from last week. I think it's a really beautiful looking shot, and I love like the teal water.
Mm-hmm.
Like the color, the colors in this final stretch of episode, the color work has just been amazing, I think.
Yeah, and part of that was the ocean, the CGI ocean that they do now that I was talking about.
Yeah. So Oven is like, no, we can't have this, and he's boiling the water. Everything with Oven specifically is like extra well animated.
Mm-hmm.
Like whoever was like on his scenes is really bringing it. And the heat, instead of just like boiling the water normally, the heat is like coming in as these like series of like snakes. They're like,
you don't really get how that works
through the water.
It's kind of cool.
It's super cool, and it's like piercing Wadatsumi. You see like the heat is like kind of consuming Wadatsumi's body, and he like has to like reemerge from the water and let the Sunny go.
He spits out the Straw Hats.
Yeah. Luffy is calling him Wadakichi, and the Big Mom Pirates are now shooting their cannons, and Wadatsumi is putting his arms out, trying to get in the way, making sure that none of the cannonballs hit the Straw Hats. He's like, I was a bad boy on Fishman Island, and he's kind of going over, I guess, his guilt for being part of Hody Jones's crew.
And also, I mean, they rely on a lot of, I think, more flashbacks than they need in this episode, I think, to pad out time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that. But, I mean, it's yeah, I don't know. I didn't know if we needed all of those flashbacks.
It was not overkill for me, except for, like, maybe towards the end.
Mm.
We get some Fishman Island flashbacks. Oven's blasting in with more heat from behind, and it looks like he's really hurting. But
Wadatsumi literally in flames.
Yeah, Wadatsumi is like he's burning alive, and he's giving this cool speech about how determined the Sun Pirates are. We're like, we've made up our minds. We're gonna save you guys.
Because you care about, I care about the Sun Pirates. I enjoyed that because Sun Pirates are awesome.
Yeah, we get the cool movie 5 music. Kicks in the Pirates of the Caribbean sounding stuff as we get another flashback of the Sun Pirates huddled around and making their decision to save the Straw Hats at all costs. I think it's kind of hard to tell exactly what's going on here, but I think Aladdin just like yanks Wadatsumi completely under the water, just like with the strength of his arm.
Yeah, I think that's what happens. And they get this cool shot of the Big Mom ship bearing down on them. That was pretty cool looking.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this episode. There's kind of a lot of reaction shots and like some pirates getting ready for battle up until the eye catch. What I thought would have been really classy is if this is when they introduced Jinbei's wanted poster into the eye catches.
Yeah. They haven't done that. I guess they still haven't done that then.
Yeah, like what's Jinbei's theme music? You know?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know.
I don't
know. So we come back and we see Aladdin using the ocean shoulder throw, like the thing that Jinbei used to throw Luffy into the three admirals confrontation in Marineford. We see Aladdin doing that, and it looks really cool. I guess we get an Aladdin versus Oven fight. They're kind of they're hashing it out a bit throughout the rest of this episode.
You kept betraying us. All those times you betrayed us.
Big action scene. Some pirates are giving it their all. We've kind of gotten the idea of how this goes. And Jinbei, he's just watching it. He's just sort of amazed by what his crew is doing for him, and he starts giving the Straw Hats instructions like, bail the water out of the Sunny quickly. It's slowing you down. Repair the holes, and like he's giving all these instructions for what he would normally do as the helmsman. But apparently, he's now giving this job to the crew again, and you kind of lost. Like, Jinbei, why are you telling us to do this? It sounds like you want to stay behind or something.
Brook was at the wheel at one point.
He's saying he can't leave his friends behind. Luffy looks really pissed, like the disrespect. How could you? And Luffy's like, okay, well, if you're staying behind, then we're staying behind too. And Jinbei has to stop him and be like, no, I've got a plan. I'm gonna help my crew in a way that's gonna guarantee your survival. It's gonna guarantee their survival, and then I will come back. I promise. Luffy does the whole "don't forget I'm your captain now." He's got the towel wrapped around him, and he looks like a captain's coat. We'll be waiting in Wano. And Jinbei is saying thank you. The tone is very strange because Luffy is he's so stern, like almost like aggressively stern. Like
it feels more serious than usual. Like you almost question whether or not like Jinbei's gonna, ever come back after this. But he kind of has to. But Luffy was so forceful about it.
Yeah, and I can't tell if there's supposed to be kind of like an edge here, like there's kind of a darkness to it, or if it's Luffy just being like taking his captain job seriously.
Yeah.
But Jinbei, he's bowing his head, he's smiling, he's like, thank you, thank you for giving me this chance to help my crew one last time. Luffy's saying, don't die no matter what. This is the Big Mom scene you were talking about. She's on, like, Parasparrow's made her a little jet ski slug.
Frog. I think it's
a frog. A jet. Yeah, it's like a frog, but she's riding it like it's a little jet ski.
Her voice is back to normal. She's she's taking things seriously. Yeah.
It sounds like way more subdued than normal. Like I don't know if Mommy Koyama is trying to make her sound a little tired or burnt out, but she just sounds like a normal. She doesn't sound like she's crazy and exuberant like normal.
Yeah, she sounds refreshed. Like all she needed was cake and a nap. And she's feeling good.
Yeah, it's her morning voice.
Like her tongue hangs out of her mouth and she's laughing. Yeah. That's a pretty good moment.
Yeah, she wants to make Luffy into a super powerful homie. We get a scene with the fire tank pirates. They've taken over one of the Tart ships because their ship has burnt up, and they're just like, well, guess that's that. I like this really cool shot of Aladdin like jumping into the air and like ending up in front of the moon before he like dives back down and keeps fighting Oven. Oven knocks him back, and Jinbei catches Aladdin under the sea, and they're having their moment
under the sea.
Yeah, and Jinbei is saying, no, don't worry. I am for sure a Straw Hat Pirate now. Just wanted to help you guys send me off right. Make sure we all survive.
I do like how that Aladdin and Oven fight was a little. It was like over animated. It was great.
Yeah,
a little Sakuga on
that. So Jinbei, part of what Jinbei wants to do is he wants to help his crew create this like ocean current where they're all like swimming in different directions and affecting how the current moves.
This looked really cool,
and it basically creates like a wall where the Big Mom Pirates, between the Big Mom Pirates and the Straw Hats, so the Straw Hats can keep sailing. And then our final scene of the episode is Morgans and Stussy. They're in Morgan's little, what is it? It's not a hot air balloon because it's being lifted by a bunch of seagulls.
I mean, it's
or Nuskus.
Yeah, it's like a bird gondola.
Yeah, they're just hanging out together, and Morgans is very into the whole scene. He's getting ready to write his big puff piece on Luffy. And Stussy's like wondering why he's so interested in Luffy specifically, and Morgans goes on to talk about the worst generation. Like, oh, you know the worst generation, right? And I don't know why he's asking her that, because of course
the disrespect. He does not include Zoro.
Yeah, he includes Killer, but not Zoro. And he just to waste like a good minute, he names all of the worst generation minus Zoro,
and he also adds Blackbeard. So.
Well, Blackbeard is considered worst generation,
right? Not a supernova,
right? And he's saying soon, from somebody among the worst generation, a new king of the pirates will be born. To be continued.
Yeah. I love that the painting thing that they do with the Big Mom ship and the current in the background.
Yeah.
It's like a painting. They just do that to have a one exceptional like frame and hold on it for a while, and it looks nice.
Yeah, that's a pretty common Toei thing, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a One Piece thing, at least I know.
Yeah. General thoughts in the episode, Ed?
The first half was slow. I thought the emotional sort of heft was in the back end, but I did like some of that art, especially at the end, and the Jinbei scenes were, they were genuinely emotional, and it's again there was just sort of stretching and padding, and for the most part I was entertained though.
Yeah, one of the things I forgot to mention in the Jinbei Luffy scene is the "don't die no matter what" line. Like in the manga, you just kind of assume he's just making a declaration, like, "Oh, I demand you don't die." But in the anime, this is the point where you hear Luffy's voice break. Like there's some actual like fear, like almost like he doesn't 100% believe what he's saying. Which is interesting choice.
Yeah.
I thought this episode was like really good. Like I'm surprised that the anime has looked this good for like 5 episodes in a row now. Like it's been a while. It feels like it's been a while since there was like a really butt-looking episode.
It's not the visuals that I usually have the problem with most weeks.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very specific kind of visual quality that I tend to hope for. Just in terms of like, does it feel good on my eyes? Regardless of whether it's like overly animated or not. Like, does it just like, is it massaging my eyeballs or not? And I get that very rarely from One Piece, but I feel like I'm getting that very consistently lately.
Yeah.
The next episode preview because next week's the finale, and I'm worried that
I actually did not watch it this week.
They don't show anything interesting in it. Like I don't know if they're just showing restraint for once, or
is it the Reverie next week, or is it something else?
No, it's just the final. It's the last Whole Cake Island episode. And I'm just hoping they're not like gonna stretch it out or anything.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, we know when they're starting the Reverie, though.
Yeah, which is.
But I mean, who knows how much of an episode will actually have the Reverie? But they can say that the Reverie is starting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that should do it. Are you ready to move on to the next segment?
I sure am.
All right, let's go.
Cool.
together segment. We got all this beef.
Thank you, Steve, for doing that for me.
The beef together segment.
The beef together segment.
There you go.
God.
There we go. We have questions, comments, and theories, and it's extra muscly. God, this took such a weird direction. Ed, if we start out with
email.
No, the other one.
Oh, right. DSP.
We don't have any emails this week, but we do have Dispiece, and we have the person who has the Dispiece on. Joe, do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, so basically Skechers released new designs in their One Piece series, and it's a Marineford themed set. And they've got Blackbeard, Marco, Whitebeard, Jinbei, Boa Hancock, and then new designs for Luffy and Law. But I just thought it was funny that there's no Ace at all, at the very least.
He's dead.
It's
it would just be a charred shoe, or a shoe with a giant hole in the middle.
You get a pair of Blackbeards and Whitebeards and like wear one each.
If only there was more Ace merchandise out there.
Well,
they made tropical pink.
They made another set of Law shoes. Like, he already had shoes. Same with Luffy.
Are you just mad because you?
I was in a store and friends were like, "Oh, hey, Steve, check out these One Piece mugs." I went over there. They had all my favorite Straw Hats were there: Luffy, Zoro, Chopper, Ace, Sabo.
Joe, are you just upset though because you have to get another pair of Law shoes?
I might get them. Yeah, I do like his Sabley outfit more than the one they had for the other shoes.
Which were they?
Marineford was not the theme that I would have expected them to expand to, like, considering that they've only done what, like 3 of the Straw Hats or so.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah.
The Monster and Chopper.
I like the Luffy one. It's simple. The Jinbei one is definitely my favorite of these because it's like obvious it's Jinbei's, but I don't know who's getting the Marco one. That's the big question here.
Jinbei would be such a sneaker guy, a sneakerhead. I thought he'd be. He seems like a Crocs guy to me.
Marco?
He does wear sandals.
No, Marco wears high heels.
I'm talking about Jinbei.
Oh, Jinbei. Jinbei wears clogs.
Yeah. It's about Marco. Besides most of Japan.
Also, Ed, to answer your question, I have seen men's sizes in these shoes.
Yeah, I think they have.
Yeah, they're here. Yeah,
I'm size 15 though, so I'm just not even gonna.
Let's see if this exists here. It goes up to size 14. Oh, so close. So close. Yeah, so that's at Skechers.com. You could probably search and find it there. So there's no emails, so let's go straight to Steven.
There was another
one.
On this piece.
Oh, I must have missed it. Oh, is it the one from Wargo? I missed that one, yeah. Last week, one of you, this is Alex he's referring to here, one of you guys did this funny carrot voice, which reminded me of this older Patreon special where you guys did a dramatic reading of a bad chapter scanlation. I forgot about that.
I love that one.
That was probably my favorite thing I've done for Patreon. Yeah.
What chapter was that again?
It was the one where, like, with Vivi and, like, they're going to the reverie. It was that chapter.
Yeah.
It was the one where Neptune kept saying Yamong.
Yeah.
Ed was
dying. Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the Alex Carrot voice that I shed light on because it's been so long, but it's... Man, how to describe that voice? It's kind of like Harley Quinn.
Joe, do you know...
the girl from Grease?
Or that girl from Orange... There's a girl from Orange...
One from Shining Time Station?
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta hear another story about Thomas.
There's a woman from Orange is the New Black who has that exact voice. Anyway, the question was, this was probably one of my favorite Patreon bonuses you guys have ever released, and I would love it if you did another one like it. And P.S., are you guys ever going to get around to that Zoe read-through episode? Why did I read that part? Yes, eventually.
I thought he was going to ask about Filler Up.
I do want to do a Zoe read through. So
yeah, no, we're gonna do a Zoe read through. Life got in the way. Life gets in the way. You know how
life gets in the way.
Yeah.
Happy life, happy wife, happy life. No Zoe read through. That's how that ends. No, we'll be doing one. I just have been having to push it back because I've had a lot of life events recently.
Well, you better start looking before you start zoeing.
Yeah. Okay. So I would love to.
Asking, dude, where's my Zoe read through?
Oh, yes. We've already done that. We've already made that joke. I don't think we did that title.
Almost named an episode that.
Yeah, we almost did. I think we even had a drawing and everything. Yep. Yeah, I would definitely love to do that again for Patreon. That was like one of the most fun things I feel like we've done. Yeah, I'm sure in the future. I can't promise a certain time because we don't read scanlations, but if an especially terrible one comes out, please let us know, and we'll do our best. So there is the one benefit, the one and only benefit to reading scanlations is finding an especially terrible one that we could act out. Let's go to Reddit, Steven.
Okay, we will begin with Baker Turtle 17, who says, my 4-year-old daughter is obsessed with One Piece, and we've been marathoning the series for about 6 months now. We're up to Enies Lobby, and it's wonderful to see her first reactions to everything. I wonder how she'll handle Mary's funeral. Wow!
Don't put her through that.
Yeah. My question is, what were some of your favorite first reaction moments? My favorite reactions from my daughter include Zoro versus Mihawk, Luffy defeating Crocodile, all of Jaya and the discovery of Skypiea, and of course the reveal of CP9 and Robin's past. She's been through a roller coaster of emotions. Are there any moments after Enies Lobby you feel will be great first-time reactions? I know Ace versus Blackbeard is coming up soon. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks.
And your daughter's 4.
Yeah, now she's gonna watch Thriller Bark.
Nerves of steel.
Yeah. No, I mean, to be fair, if you're gonna watch any zombie material, like any nightmarish material, Thriller Bark is probably the best entry into like that kind of genre. And also some 4-year-olds really love that kind of stuff. I remember my sister being really into Poltergeist when she was young. Maybe not 4.
Yeah, I could see your sister.
Right. Yeah. You guys have met my sister. That makes sense. The moment I got, like, one of the most shocking moments, and thank you, Ed, for not spoiling this when I originally watched, was the CP9 reveal. That was such a moment to, like, this day. I remember when Grant was going through it and, like, the entire community reacted. It's like, oh, you didn't get spoiled. Perfect. Yeah.
I liked one of finding out that Jaya and Skypiea were the same island. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Man, I can't think of like big shocking moments. And I mean, there's tons of those in One Piece, but maybe
I like the crew getting separated. It's the body. It was a big one.
Maybe Roger being revealed to be the father of Ace, because also that was the first episode of the podcast I ever did. So it's kind of memorable in that way.
I can be really predictable. The one of the few times I've actually screamed out loud in One Piece was towards the end of Marineford. I think you all know where this is going. Where I had Ace's death spoiled for me like a few episodes before I got to that point, because my friend thought I already knew, and but I didn't know how Luffy was gonna get away. I'm like, this seems pretty dire. I wonder how he's gonna get out of this. And then here comes my favorite character, or soon to be my favorite character, and like actually screamed. Plus Shanks being there, because Shanks and Law are like my 2 favorite characters. So the end of Marineford for me.
I also I screamed when Rockstar came back.
Your favorite
I forgot he did come back like recently, right? God,
every time Strawberry shows up.
Hey, Joe, don't tell people. What's next? Oh no, sorry, Steve.
Sorry, I'm just thinking of what characters I'll scream now for when they return. Dillinger, Eneru, definitely.
Yeah, I would definitely scream if Eneru comes back, if and when.
Yeah,
Khan.
Khan.
That one took me a second.
Can we settle for Kong? So just be like,
oh, there you go.
Kong.
If he ever does anything.
Yeah.
He sits there and looks intimidating.
It's like Sengoku is like semi-retired and Kong is like ultra retired at this point. All right, let's move on.
He's doing appearances at Comic-Cons these days.
Yeah, he's doing signings. Mr. Fiendish has a question about the original Japanese. When they announced Luffy as the 5th emperor, did Oda say Yonko, or did he say Goko, or did he cleverly avoid using that term? Well, you're in luck that I'm on this week, because I can tell you that what he said exactly is Gobanme no Yonko, which means the 5th Yonko. So there you go. He is the 5th of the 4 emperors, I guess you would say. So it's
almost exactly like the Luffy joke. Where was it, like when he adds one thing to everything?
Right. Yeah,
4 swords.
It's like a Zen koan.
2 swords.
Natachi says, this chapter was fascinating. We got to know that Raizo can be a clumsy idiot and pick up the wrong keys, which was hilarious. Oh, I guess I didn't interpret it that way. That's interesting. My question, or rather prediction, is that Zoro will defeat the weapons collector, take the weapons with him, and end up returning them to the authorities. They will praise him for his heroics and will return Shusui to him. I just cannot imagine Zoro fighting without the legendary sword he rightfully won. Thoughts?
I mean, I do think he'll defeat him pretty quickly.
I don't know if Zoro doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who would like find contraband and dutifully turn around and turn it into the proper authorities. That's just my read on Zoro's character.
Plus, he mentions like they have a fight that they need weapons for.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Yeah, they need those weapons more.
Yeah.
I don't know. Although I will admit, with the various reactions I've been hearing, I guess I will admit that I guess I am not as clear on the order of events, or like where Shusui has been, than I thought I was, because I thought Zoro had it back already, and now I'm like I don't know.
Yeah, you think he'd be all Harrison Ford, like I gotta get my sword back. Like,
yeah,
just mumbling to himself all the time, but he's been kind of cool as a cucumber.
Because the guy said he returned the sword, but I would have assumed that he would just keep it because he has all those other weapons. Like, did he steal those too and just decided, you know what, these aren't worth returning, I'm going to keep these ones? It's just a little confusing. I want to see more from that character. Anyways, DDDD Freed says, if you were a ninja, what would you do?
Do the Naruto run to work every day.
Yeah,
I would drive less and travel around by hopping on trees, going all the time.
Into a log more.
You're in a conversation, you're just making small talk, and you really want to get out of it, and you're like, and just turn into a
log.
No, you don't turn into a log. You just use the log as a substitute. Right. It's all covered in Trafalgar Law's log blog.
I would I would have my headband draped over one eye and use that as a conversation piece. Yeah. Let's see. ATLA for Life says, do you think Wano will be better read in binge mode rather than week to week? I find myself loving reading every new chapter, but I also find myself at odds with this arc because it feels like it's moving a single step every week. With so many plot lines at the same time, I get this simultaneous feeling of fast and glacial pacing. Does anyone on the podcast feel similar?
Sure, and you definitely need to reread once the volumes come out, because otherwise there are things you missed going week to week, and it's probably obvious to people coming back and listening to this in the past, or in the future listening to this, that we're missing things.
Yeah, I feel like my impression of where we are right now is that I feel like in certain aspects, this is actually even a potentially larger arc than Dressrosa in terms of like the number of characters, because we're still getting introduced to more characters, and I feel like he could like almost semi-indefinitely just produce more. So I feel like if he wanted to, he could make it even longer or even more convoluted. And I feel like he is specifically not doing, like, he's kind of off paneling a lot of stuff, or introducing a lot of things that are happening very quickly that you don't necessarily have time to digest, or to like really grasp everything that is going on. So he's saving a lot more page space. So he's getting through more, but he's also kind of telling less, in a sense, probably in an attempt to not get bogged down too much. He wants to keep a good pace going. And so I feel like in that regard, it's not just that it will be better in a binge mode, reread, but it's also like one that you will really want to reread just to make sure that you remember everything that happens, because it's been happening very quickly, I think. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how my take on the Wano arc so far. Lord Nemo 593 says, is there a physical release of the colored version manga? If not, when do you think there will be? There is no physical version of the colored manga. That's a digital product only, and my guess is that there will never be a physical version. Although they did,
because who does the coloring? Like that's Shueisha does that internally. Yeah. That's not produced by Oda, so he probably wouldn't let that have a physical release.
Yeah, well, the only caveat to that is that they did release some of the Dragon Ball manga in color, and Viz did that too. Yeah. So that's kind of the only way that I would see it happening. But I mean, they didn't even do the entire Dragon Ball manga. It was just a couple volumes. So
not until it's over at the very least.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
What do you guys think of those colored pages?
Some of them look really nice. I mean, I think of the Shueisha like digitally colored, like digital storefront manga that they put out, I think that's some of the best that I've seen personally. So I think they do a good job with it, but it's still, like I'm still a purist in that sense. Like I want to see the black and white, like just what Oda and his staff did.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. It's weird. I think maybe it's One Piece that I have a stigma with, where I'm like, nah, black and white, how it was intended. But something like JoJo, I'm like, oh God, please give me color. I need to know who the hell's who. All these girls look the same. I mean, guys. I mean, I guess it depends on each manga. But like, I think Oda, and I've complimented on him in the past, like he knows how to choose his black and white. I mean, his black ink. Like he knows when to fill stuff in. He knows when not to, and just it looks really good. And like I've seen some of those digital colored pages, and sometimes it just looks awkward. But one of the things I do like about it is they follow the manga color schemes more so than the anime.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys have picked up on that.
Yeah,
One-Headed Mary.
Right. Yeah, like stuff like that. Like what's another one that was like I think the Vivre cards, like that's like a lot of those are from the colored manga. So like if you want to get a sense of what characters look slightly different in that, it's like dare I say it, like Pearl from Don Krieg's crew. His color scheme is way different because it's based off of the volume 8 cover, I believe.
Yeah, Karoo is like browner. He's not so yellow, stuff like that. All right, let's see. Easily Intrigued 22 says, I was just wondering if any of you guys believe that Komurasaki is not Kozuki Hiyori. Usually Oda at least gives us some context clues and makes us draw our own conclusions when it comes to reveals like this. But in this case, he kind of just left the answer sheet laying on his desk. Is there any possibility he completely pulls the rug out from under us and reveals her as someone totally different? Or is this pretty much set in stone?
I would think it is. It was some pretty heavy foreshadowing.
Yeah, well, I think he's saying, is it too much is it too obvious?
He's trying to work us.
Right.
Probably not.
Yeah, I feel like it's just the arc already. Again, like we were just saying, it's so convoluted already as far as all the different characters and the different names and such, that I feel like doing misdirects and making it even more complicated is just kind of maybe a step too far. But I mean, I cannot discount the possibility, of course, because It is the sort of thing that Oda would do and has done at other times, but I don't know. I feel like right now the not the misdirect, but the thing that he's doing is he's sowing the seeds for like the recruitment plan going awry, that they already know about the whole the crescent moon thing, and that was definitely a case of Oda laying out the ground, the steps in order, and so that that it's going to go wrong. Same with the kind of baking the cake and all of that stuff. So that's how he likes to do things.
Yeah, I think sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I think he might be trying to get us to focus on other things, or like the whole Hiyori thing. It's like, yeah, that's whatever. Don't have time to theorize, but then he'll do some other twist that we weren't even thinking about.
Mm-hmm. Or he'll just wait to do the official reveal until it's a more dramatic moment or something.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Grob says, say my name, Zach.
Okay, wait. I'm totally doing other things.
I had a feeling.
You almost had me, Zach. I almost thought, oh, good. Zach isn't distracted.
No, I'm just making the most awesome trivia right now. I'm proud of myself for it. But let me. Can you put it in the chat so I could read it out loud, Stephen?
Repeat after me. Grob, 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 grob.
Because I could do that.
We're waiting.
Grob, gob, glob, grob. I was trying to think of the. Have you ever seen those videos where they mispronounce things on purpose? It's like the pronunciation guide. It's called on YouTube. Yeah. I was just gonna do something completely different, like a blah blah blah, a blah blah blah. That's exactly what they do. Just something that it clearly is not written there. Anyway,
you managed to say it.
Grob, gob, glob, grob. Yeah. By the way, that's the most One Piece podcast username I've ever seen. Good job.
I believe that this is actually a character from Adventure Time.
Oh, really?
That is what it's.
Oh, then I'm probably mispronouncing it, which is, I guess, the point.
You're thinking of Goof Troop.
That is what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Did we do a sequel, though, when it had a...
We wanted to a bunch of times, but I don't think we actually have.
I think we did one. I'm going to find
that. Like all sequels, they've all been inferior.
Except for tell that to Mr. Stab Through the Heart over here.
Each one has been better than the last. Stab Through the Eye was my favorite.
I think Steven was thinking of the Lumpy Space Princess because she says, "Oh, glob."
Right. Yeah. Glob. All right. Okay. We kind of tiptoed around this, so let's just go. Let's do it here. Nuwanda the Druid says, "Hey OPP, what the fuck was that chapter? I was really enjoying it up until the happiness punch, and now I just feel gross. Whole Cake Island made me really excited for the futures of women and Sanji in One Piece, and in one fell swoop, both have been regulated to their old status. I just feel so disappointed."
Yep.
All right.
That's over. I agree. He wasn't going to change Sanji that much, I don't think.
Yeah, I think we were probably dancing around the happiness punch in the room. I mean, Steve, it sounded like... Oh, Joe, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think at this point you should just resign yourself that it's not going to change that much.
Yeah, I'm trying to enjoy everything around it. Yeah. I know that's probably not great to do, but...
It keeps your sanity.
Yeah.
I love Sanji. He has his faults. Who was that one politician that got caught in a scandal, and then when he was making his apology, his wife
all of them
was just standing behind him? Was that?
All of them.
Who was the one that had his wife standing behind him and just had this like
Spitzer? You're thinking of Spitzer.
It wasn't
I'm Mrs. Spitzer.
Oh, Spitzer, right, yeah.
I'm just standing behind Sanji, saying like, "You dumbass, you no good, perverted son of a bitch."
You're thinking of Councilman Dexart from Parks and Rec.
Oh, that is Sanji. Yeah. That guy is Sanji.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking of a politician, but I heard something like Jeff Bezos had like his mistress in like commercial while going through a scandal with that or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that happened recently, but they got divorced, so I don't think they had he didn't have the wife behind him in that like that.
All right. Here's one of the genre. I'll put it in the chat for you.
Yeah, it's I mean, I think it's definitely. This is not, and I'm not saying this to call out, the reader who submitted this question or anything, because I think everyone kind of falls into this line of thinking. But a lot of the things that people, or a lot of the sort of character flaws that you see, especially with the ongoing characters like the Straw Hats, they are not. I mean, they're foibles that Oda uses to kind of give them to make them flawed, and in often cases to make them funny, to use as gags, and they're not really meant to be things that you see them evolve and grow out of, because this is not like this isn't like HBO prestige character based drama where you have an arc, like it's a literary arc of a character starts at point A and ends up in point B. It's it's an ongoing comic book where the characters themselves are very kind of marketable. Like the character has to be cohesive and always be that character. You don't want them to be one person at the start and another person in the middle and then another person at the end.
It's the opposite of Breaking Bad, is what you're saying?
Right, exactly. Like they're always going to have these flaws, and that's why you're always going to see at some point Usopp is going to freak out at an important moment, or Sanji's going to be a horn dog at some like serious moment, or Luffy's going to get stuck in something at some, there's all these things that they do, and it's just you have to always remind yourself that it's not going to ever permanently change, because that's just kind of part of their character and how he utilizes them. Now you can be disappointed with it or be annoyed by it, that's certainly well within your rights, but like that's kind of why what I was saying in the manga recap was that, like, I was kind of like, okay, well, he was setting this up that Sanji was going to try to do this, so I'm not surprised in any way. I just wish that he had like gotten a little more mileage out of it, if he was going to go there. So it's just kind of in your expectations, I guess, for the characters.
To be fair, Ed and I have been reading Dragon Ball for our Patreon podcast. And the same exact thing happens.
No, hey, let's talk about what I saw in Dragon Ball Z this week that I watched, old episodes from the Buu Saga. And they're searching for the Dragon Balls after Majin Vegeta kills himself. Mm-hmm. And Steve knows where I'm going with this. Yeah. And Yamcha crash lands the bus plane.
Oh, God. I know where you're going with this.
And yes, this is when Roshi sticks his face in number 18's boobs when she's holding her daughter. Like, God. What?
Yeah,
and then he gives her a honk. Like, that's the worst thing I saw all week. Like, I'm like, I must have been like desensitized that I didn't think One Piece was that bad this week. Like, good Lord!
Not only does he get caught, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, you got me.
She like breaks his neck.
Let me finish real quick, though.
Yeah, jeez. She breaks his neck pretty much, but yeah, still not great.
Well, he's immortal, as I learned from the first volume of Dragon Ball. So, I guess I
put the disc down.
But they make that exact same joke in the first volume of Dragon Ball. Remember where Bulma didn't realize?
Yeah, Roshi never changes.
Yeah,
he's the worst.
Yeah, Roshi is definitely the worst. I didn't realize how bad a character he was.
Once you get out of like the Tenkaichi Budokai, there's nothing. There's nothing good left of Roshi. It's all.
Well, no. Even before that, there's not a lot good. Yeah, I guess there's some in the middle.
He gets to, like the tournament arcs, like he's a totally different character.
Well, I mean, there's also the sexy fighter in the first Budokai as well. What's her name? I forget.
Ron-Fan,
right?
That kind of reminds me of a thought I had last week. What if what's his name? Hyogoro, the Yakuza guy, what if he's like the Roshi of this arc, where he's just a little scrawny dude, but then when he actually fights, he just beefs up. And
that's what I thought was going to happen. Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
I thought you were going to suggest he turns out to be a total fucking pervert. And I'm like,
no.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that too.
Yeah. I like her idea better.
Yeah. No. I was going to ask. I was actually going to mention that because he doesn't get his handcuffs off, right? Only Luffy does. I think they purposely keep his handcuffs on.
I would assume that he does.
Look.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling once he gets those off, exactly what you predict is going to happen. If he didn't. If he did, then maybe not. Okay, Steven, you could go to the next question.
Okay. Yeah, just a few more on Reddit. Grand Reboot says, if you could imagine an alternate universe where characters from other manga can be introduced into the Wano arc in One Piece, what character would you want introduced into the world, and how would you like it done? So we have an example here. For me, I was going to commit sacrilege here and say Kenpachi from Bleach. I'm assuming no one likes Bleach here.
I do like Kenpachi of the characters in Bleach. I like him.
Yeah. He should be introduced as a Ronin and should fight Zoro since they are so similar. Both have amazing sense of direction. Both love to fight. Both have some form of criminal background, and both loved fighting thanks to a woman in their childhood. However, I'll commit sacrilege in a different way and suggest Unohana as a medic for the enemy that fights Zoro. Considering that Kenpachi pretty much learned his love of fighting from her, and Zoro has yet to be challenged, I think he would not be able to pull his punches even if she's a woman. Plus, One Piece is still lacking in powerful women. Note, in case you didn't know, Unohana's previous alias was known to be the worst criminal to ever exist in the history of Soul Society before she became the captain of the 11th Division.
Interesting.
Is the question like what kind of like Japanese-esque characters we want?
No, I like basically
whoever,
like yeah, like I guess it would make the most sense if it was a Japanese-esque character. I mean, I would say people from a series, but that series has since been disgraced, so I'm not gonna.
I think only Ed will know what I'm talking about, but actually, they're all wrestlers, so I'll just say it. Asuka from WWE.
Oh yeah. With the mask, yeah, that'd be nice.
Totally. Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah, he should. I mean, he's been in the anime, but Oda should put him in the manga, I believe.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna happen. Yeah,
I want to see it.
We should go to his. You should go to his store.
I would love to one day because he only has one shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees and it's too pricey.
So I was looking at the previous chapter and it doesn't look like Hyo has handcuffs at all.
Oh,
probably because he doesn't have
double field powers. Yeah, that's what I
thought. I also want to mention, since we were talking about Goof Troop Loop Lorp, in July 2017,
first time it's Goof Troop.
Goof Troop, whatever. In July 2017, when Jinbei was throwing a croquembouche into Big Mom's mouth, we called it "Let Them Eat Blurb Blorb." So it's been done. Go ahead.
Dude, do you realize that was almost 3 years ago?
That is insane.
I had that thought yesterday, like when we were at MatsuriCon, like, oh, what chapter were we doing a manga recap on? I'm like, oh, freaking Cracker.
Oh no,
not
shit.
Even real Cracker.
July 2017 was the anime episode with the croquembouche. It was the one where the wedding cake fell down in the manga. That was almost 3 years ago, or 2.5, I guess. A little over 2.5. That's insane.
Yeah.
I have an idea for this question. Now, hear me out. What if instead of Luffy and Old Man Hyo, it was Luffy and Master Roshi?
Get out.
Thank you. All right. Almost done with Reddit here. 420 Jinbei has the...
He's got the yukata for it.
Yeah, exactly. He has the opposite take. Ah, man, the bathhouse scenes are over. All I have to say is you have one job, Toei. I'm not sure what that...
Yeah, I don't know even what that's referring to. What is he expecting?
Bring in the nerds!
You mean the animators?
Yes, unleash the animators.
Yeah, the animators are pretty... I wouldn't be worried about that. Yeah,
he wants the animators to get their sea stone cuffs off for the scene.
I'm just gonna say, from what I know, I think Oda's bad, but the animators are way worse on that respect. Depending on your perspective.
Remember
and there's proof that Oda has had sex.
Oh yeah, he has kids. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say,
yeah.
From interviewing Shingaki, didn't he say that like his favorite character to draw was Hancock because he liked the busty ladies? So
Shingaki did not hide his
no
predilection. Is that the word?
My favorite is the guy talking about Shirahoshi in OPP Japan.
Oh God, he was obsessed. And Jose did a great job with that. Yeah. OPP Japan, available for all Patreon subscribers. Okay, what's next, Steven?
Okay, last question on Reddit. It's from Knife938, who says, last week you guys talked about Oda romanticizing the Yakuza, and there seemed to be disappointment that the trope of good Yakuza shown a lot in the manga was being done in One Piece. My question is, how is this any different from Oda romanticizing pirates? Last time I checked, real-world pirates did bad things like the Yakuza, and Oda literally named the first volume and chapter Romance Dawn.
Good point.
Excellent counterpoint. I do know, I remember reading up that the reason why a lot of people became pirates is because conditions in like the Navy were terrible. They treated Navy men poorly. People were getting sick and they were in terrible living conditions, so that's why a lot of people just became pirates. A little pirate history for you,
with some exceptions, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course, there was terrible pirates.
Steve, you are a fool. Go ahead.
I would say,
Zach.
I would not say. I wouldn't say that I was necessarily like disappointed by it. I was definitely bringing that up as that it is kind of a storytelling trope, and I think that's definitely what Oda was going for, was kind of playing on this like classic tale, which is kind of similar to things like Robin Hood. The stories of people who are outside of the law or like the structure of privilege, who use their abilities to right injustices or something like that, even if they also happen to be a little on the wild side. But I think we have like good. I mean, I don't know how this character is going to play out, but it kind of feels like Kyoshiro is the counterpoint to that, where like, okay, old man Kyo is like the good old days, like the old ways where people had, where you could respect a man and blah, blah, blah. And Kyoshiro is like the new school. It's almost like the Avon and Marlowe from The Wire sort of thing, where they're playing on like the newer generation being more ruthless or something, which is, probably not super accurate to the way things work out in real life. I'm sure it goes both ways, but I feel like there's some counterpoint there to what Oda is doing with his depictions of those the different Yakuza characters. So I would be curious to see. I hope we get to see like some kind of confrontation or something between Hyo and Kyoshiro to see how they react, because that would be kind of cool.
It's a good question. I personally, it's kind of unrelated, but just talking about how One Piece is a series about pirates. You're not cute or funny when I hear talks about scanlations and supporting the official release, and people's reaction is, but the stories about characters being pirates. I'm like, yeah, they totally had fucking Napster on the Grand Line. Like, shut up. just a little vent session right there. But.
All right. Well, that is it for Reddit.
Okay, so Ed, it's time to
Piece the tweet. All right, our first piece of the tweet this week comes from King Luffy 1, who says, "Will Baccarat be a recycled name from One Piece film Gold for one of the headliners, since they are all named after card games?" I guess they can't really use that one then. Here's another one.
I was gonna say, I think Oda is better about not reusing names from the anime than he is about reusing names within his own manga. So
that's true. Yeah. There's also this one. Nine Claw Tiger says, "Please tell us about your own podcasting endeavors." Also, I guess this is for Godzilla. He wasn't.
Yeah.
He's not here. So, sorry, we'll have to get that one next time. Karka Jakku says, Kawamatsu may be the retainer of with the hat who took care of Hiyori. He probably has ties to the Yakuza and may have entrusted Hiyori to Kyoshiro when he was about to be captured. Would explain how she ended up there.
Yeah. And we know that he obviously did not jump forward in time with the rest of them. So him being in prison for all that time, it's you can see more of a backstory for him than some of these other guys. So
right. All right. Your RGB asks, after Kaido is defeated, will Luffy stop the Kid Hawkins Eppu alliance since their original goal was to defeat Shanks, or will Luffy be cool with them trying to hand their lives away to Shanks? I think Luffy trusts that Shanks can handle his own business.
Yeah.
Like Luffy's got that doesn't help Luffy become king of the pirates.
Yeah, Shanks is a grown man.
Yeah,
who don't need no Luffy.
Yeah,
strong
independent Shanks.
Yeah. Next one comes from Super Ninja Clone, who says, Onigashima is close by and Wano has regions with different climates separated by rivers. Could the country have been created by an Oni? I'm thinking about Ore as being the continent pillar, and the geography and climate seems like several islands got smushed together. Hey, that's interesting. That's definitely a cromulent theory.
Yeah.
And finally, our very own Brian Newton, Dark King Zoro on Twitter, says, about the anime this week, Jinbei not getting on the ship is one of the biggest blue balls of the year. You get it? Because he's blue, and he's round, and he's got two huge... Oh, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I wish I read this earlier, because I would have gave Brian a smack for that one.
And you saw him in Little Tokyo?
Yes.
Okay,
anyway,
so
that's it for Piece of Tweet.
That's it for Piece of the Tweet. We have some really... Let's just say Joe might like the trivia that's coming up. But first, let's round off. You guys ready? This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 561 for the week of Sunday, March 18th or 17th, 2019. Good to have all you guys here. Please follow God's Will and Jonna, if you have not, on their social media pages and Funimation, because God's Will does that. And check out Nebulandia and episode of Sabo. Those are out. One of them is out now. One of them is coming out later in the year. And just so you can pre-order Nebulandia now. Here's some Foxy. Steven, where can people find you?
You may follow me on Twitter at Translatosaurus.
Joe.
You can follow me on Twitter at Joe on Boba, all one word. Where I talk about One Piece sometimes, Pokemon, video games, and life.
Nice. Thank you, Joe. We have Steve. Where can people find you?
Hey, you can find me on the internet, like Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. Steve Yurko is the username. Where else? I'm on other podcasts. I host The Deep End, which is an Adult Swim podcast I do with Matthew J. of Cartoons 101. I host Toon Suite with our good friend Doctor of the SSAA podcast. I think as of this recording, WWE Full Metal, our latest episode, has been out. And this coming week on Deep End, we're talking about Gundam 0083. Have any of you guys watched that one?
Yeah, it's been since it's aired. I remember liking it.
Prequel to Zeta, right?
No. Well, maybe.
I think it's just a side story. I thought it was a side story.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like watching the good version of Pilot Candidate. So I'm having a lot of fun.
Which
with it.
Every anime is. Let's just be clear. Ed, where can people? Go ahead, Steve. Sorry,
just random. I got a library card, so I'm trying to read more manga that I don't have the shelf space for. So I might be reading more Hunter x Hunter now. In case the world wants to know that, share their thoughts. If you want me to share my thoughts,
I plan on starting to watch the anime for that. So maybe we'll be doing that concurrently.
Yeah.
All right, Ed, where can people find us?
Well, I am at Edward E. One Piece on Twitter. I'm also Weeb Trailers on Twitter, and earlier today I posted up a Japanese trailer for the first Pat Labor movie. So you can check that out. It's a really good trailer. And also some TV ads that were also on the DVD. As for you, your Zach_Logan on Twitter, I am... the podcast can be found at OnePiecePodcast.com, at Twitter.com, YouTube.com, and oh, wow, I've messed myself up here. Twitter.com, YouTube.com, and Facebook.com/OnePiecePodcast. OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com is our email address. OnePiecePodcast is our Skype name. Please support us. Patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. You can OnePiecePodcast@gmail.com. I already said that. r/OnePiecePodcast. That's our subreddit. Yeah. Please leave us some piece together there. You can subscribe on SoundCloud, subscribe on Google Play, on Spotify. Yeah. Subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number, Zach.
And the phone number is 347-497-MAJI. That call anytime. Questions, comments, theories. The number again is 347-497-6254. We both messed up. It's fine. MAJI. Call anytime. It's only been 561 episodes. No one's asking us to get this right away. With your questions, comments, theories, or Looney Tunes gags.
Or all this beef.
So we have Jo on. She has made it clear, and we all know, big Law fan. So we're going to do, obviously, Law trivia, but we're going to do it in a little bit of a different way. Jo, you're our expert, so I don't think it's fair for you necessarily to compete in the same way everyone else is. So this is how we're going to do it. We have 3 people here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 categories to choose from. Okay. Jo, you're going to choose the order. Everyone gets to choose one of the categories whichever category they want to answer trivia questions about. They're all law related. And Jo, you get to correct them basically. So if they get anything wrong, or if they can't think of the answer to something, you get to do it. Okay. Do you want me to give you points too? I mean, I figure you'll know most of these. It's up to you, Jo, if you also want points. No? Yes?
Sure. I don't know.
Okay.
It's a lot of rules.
She said sure. So what order do you want these guys to go in? So Steve, Ed here. Or who do you want to go first?
I guess Ed.
I was going to say earlier is actually better here because they get to choose out of all the categories. Right. They all have different amounts, so it's completely random. So you get to choose between Law Basics, Law Abilities, the Heart Pirates, Traffy's Nicknames, or Beppo, a category all about Beppo.
I'll just go with Basics.
Okay. You picked one. There's a lot on here. So Laws had 3 bounties. Name any of them. You get points if you can name all 3 of them. Otherwise, Jo gets to take it.
One was 111. Was the other one 333?
You were wrong. Any others you want to guess? Jo, do you want to say?
I'm afraid I don't remember his first one right now, but the one post time skip was 440 because 4 is the death number, and then the second one was 500.
Yeah, the first one was 200. So age, either before or after the time skip, or both. I don't really care.
It's 23.
Ooh, close. Jo, do you know?
Pre-time skip 24, post-time skip 26.
There you go. 2 points. Jo is kicking ass already.
Same age as me. Woo!
There you go. That's a good reason to remember. What is his birthplace or residence? His original residence, as far as we know.
North Blue.
Can you be more specific? We went there.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a hint. No, I won't give you a hint.
Nope.
Jo?
The town of Flavance.
I'm so proud of this quiz already. When is his birthday?
Okay.
Ed, when's his birthday?
April 4th.
Jo?
October 6th.
Oh my god.
I just went with the 4.
What is his height? I'm fine if you're like off by like an inch or 2 here.
Ooh, 6'3".
Wow, perfect. Nice, Ed.
All right.
6'3.5", but I'll take it. What is his blood type?
O.
No. Joe.
I don't actually know this one. Was this in an SBS?
Yeah, a lot of these are going to be SBS questions. Yeah,
that makes sense.
How many are there?
This one there's like 11, but the rest of these categories are much shorter. You pick the longest category. His blood type is
so
F.
he has like the most options to be right.
Yeah, but he's only gotten one, so it's fine. Some of these are the hardest though, so it's fine. So name either his seiyuu and or his voice actor, Ed. I hear Joe screaming in the back. I'm kidding.
It's a famous. Is it Tomokazu Seki?
No. Do you know his VA?
No, I don't.
I know Steve is yelling that one. Yeah. But Joe, go for it. Do you know either?
Yeah, I know them both. His Japanese his Japanese voice actor is Hiroshi Kamiya, and his English voice actor is Matthew Mercer.
Oh, that's right. His Japanese voice actor was in The Night Is Short, Walk On Girl. He was good.
Should I give Ed a point for that?
I don't know.
Okay, what country would he be from? Or is he most associated with, I guess is you know what I mean.
His image country.
His image country. Thank you. Thank you, Steven.
Wow. Germany.
Yeah, there you go.
Because he's a doctor and Japanese associate doctors with Germany.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, you have two choices here. What animal would he be associated with? There are two that owed it lists.
A lemur and a buffalo.
No. Ed said, if you're confident about anything. Joe, what are they?
The first one was a snow leopard, which was the figure that they made of him.
Oh, yeah.
And then the second one was a fan-submitted one, which was a spotted seal.
Yeah, wow. I only had seal written. One Piece Wiki only had seal. Joe already had that. Okay. He has two hobbies. And Joe's going to hate the comments I have about the hobbies when we're done. But Ed, what are they?
I don't know. Eating rice and wearing blue jeans.
I mean, you're kind of there. Joe, do you know what they are?
I know one of them. I can't remember what the second one is, but one of them is he likes collecting like commemorative coins.
Yes.
It's really weird, but okay.
The second one is, and this one's the most law answer I've ever heard, wandering. Just wandering around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zoro's accidentally doing his hobby all the time. Okay. Who do you want to go next? That's all of them for that category. That's a long category.
How many points did I get? 3?
Ed, you got 2 points. Joe currently has 11.
This is Zach's plan. Is that we complain about the trivia, so he brings in an expert to school us.
What do you want?
If only was on this week, you would have.
Yeah, he would have hated this. I mean, this is really between the three of you. Joe is our, what do you call it?
I mean, wouldn't everyone want to do this with their favorite character? Like, wouldn't Steve just kill for the chance to do this with Sanji?
Maybe next time. Who do you want to go next, Steve or Steven?
Steve.
Okay, so remaining abilities, Steve. Remaining categories: abilities, Heart Pirates, Traffy's nicknames, or Beppo. Steve?
Give me a second. Jeez.
No.
Let's go with I'm gonna say abilities.
Okay. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 abilities that Law is able to do.
Fucking name all of them.
Name all of them. And Joe, you have to keep track which ones he's missing. Just name his abilities.
Yeah, it's easy.
As many as you can. There's 12.
Chambres.
Yeah, that's one.
Not knowing when to stay the fuck down during the Dressrosa arc. Radio knife.
Yeah, 2.
Not eating bread.
I like the fake ones you're putting in between each. Go ahead.
I don't know what's there. Room.
Yep.
Does room count?
Yep.
No. Okay.
You're already beating Ed, so.
What else has he got here? Flipping the middle finger.
Yeah, that's definitely one. Yeah. You could stop whenever you want. Yeah.
I'm about to, so don't you worry. How many more do I have to name?
You named 3. You have 9 left.
Oh, splendid. Man, I'm trying to think like what language he uses.
They're all over the place. So
it's a Chambers.
He's like Robin. He's all over the place.
I don't care.
Okay.
Apple.
Did you say apple?
No, it's
scalpel.
Scalpel. Oh no. That is one. Yeah. Do you want to guess any more, or you're good?
You have to keep going.
He doesn't have to.
Anesthetic.
No.
This isn't a war. This is a moida.
I like your answers better than the real ones, but I can't do that. Okay, Joe, you're done, Steve, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I'm good.
Joe, do you want to name as many other ones you can?
You told me to keep track, so I've been looking at a list. Do I have to do it from memory, though?
Yeah, you have to do it from memory. You can't be cheating like that.
You told me to keep track.
No, I might keep track on your own, like write them down, or use your head. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Tact, radio knife.
You said radio knife. Yeah, but go ahead.
Gamma knife. Scan, which you use like once.
Yeah, that was
Punk
Hazard, right?
Mm-hmm. He used it to get the snails, yeah.
You said tact. Yeah, you've got in 3.
Counter shock. He used against everyone. At least you guys' favorite villains, the Cool Brothers.
Oh yeah. Our favorite. You've got 4 left.
Injection shot.
5, yeah. 3
Durbin.
6. 2 more.
2 more. Okay.
Give you a couple seconds here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like which ones.
It's okay. You got 6 already. There's no shame in that.
Yeah.
Okay. The last 2 are amputate and the personality switching surgery.
Well, see, those 2 he never actually mentions in the manga. I don't know where they got that from.
That's a good question. Okay,
those are never used. Anyway, go ahead.
You guys both did good. So the score right now is Steve has 4, Ed has 2, Joe has 16. Steven, the remaining categories: Heart Pirates, Traffy's nicknames, and Beppo.
All right, I'm just gonna go with the one that I'll probably get the least on, since I can't even imagine what these questions will be. I'll go with Beppo.
Okay. Beppo, what is his position on the crew?
Oh, he's the navigator.
Yep. Where's his birthplace?
Zoe.
What is his age, either before or after the time skip?
Oh, he's really young, isn't he? I want to say like 21 or something.
I want to give that to you because it's 20 and 22. So I'm gonna.
Oh, okay. Yeah, split the difference. Yeah.
I think you split the difference. Yeah, that's what it was. You averaged them. When is his birthday? And extra point if you can name the holiday.
Oh, so it's a holiday. So you gave me a hint.
But it's a Japanese holiday.
Wait, did it just pass? Is it March 14th?
No.
Oh, because that's White Day. I was gonna say.
Joe, do you know?
Okay, that was my guess right there.
Do you know, Joe?
I don't. I know the holiday. I just don't remember what day it is. It's Animal Day, and I think it's like November 1st or something like that.
November 20th. I have Fur Day being the day, but you might be
Fur
right.
Day. Yeah.
Is that a different one? I don't know.
Does that take place at the Pittsburgh Convention Center?
Steven. Steve, you have something you want to say?
I think you guys are incorrect. See, he was born in Atlanta, Georgia on Coca-Cola Day.
I get it now. What is his height, Steven?
His height? I don't know, like 7 foot.
7 foot what? I'm giving you a big opportunity.
7 foot.
Trying to be nice here.
4.
No. Do you know what it actually is, Joe?
7'10".
Yeah, Jesus. I wasn't expecting that.
I was gonna reach through the internet and smack you if you were like 7'0".
What is his blood type?
Blood type? Raw. I don't know. F positive. I don't know.
Joe, do you know?
No, I don't keep track of the blood types.
That's a good thing not to keep track of. S.
Blood type is
S. Good answer. What is his bounty?
His bounty?
This is interesting.
I don't know. Like, he's a bounty. Like 150 million.
Joe.
500.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Only
just
500.
500.
Like 500. Oh, okay.
500 flat.
I thought you meant 500 million. I was
No,
like,
just
Pretty
500.
impressive.
Who did he kill?
Okay. Say you and or voice actor.
Oh, I have no idea.
I'll give you a point if you can name who else the Seiyu has voiced in the anime. Because I mention this often.
I have not even seen Beppo animated, so I couldn't even tell you.
But I mentioned this last week on the show. Ed, you could go for it.
Is it the guy who voices Wanze and Satori? And
Yes.
And Mr. Nine. And,
Yeah, all the fun people.
Remember that long talk we had about Mr. Nine?
Oh, yeah, I forgot you weren't on that segment, Steven. But do you know the VA, anyone here? Or Joe, do you know the VA or the Seiyu?
No, but I know he also voiced Bucci in the Yamen brothers.
Someone wants to answer.
Steve?
Is this Chris? Is this voice actor Chris George?
Yes, it is. I'm going to give Steve a point for that. Yeah, nice.
And the voice actor for Butchie was Chris Rager. I win.
I thought it was Rager, but I guess it's Rager.
you win
Okay.
a single point.
Wait, there's still one more question. What number was he on the popularity poll?
The
Popularity.
Well, he was number 1 in my heart. But, I don't know. Let me see. I'm gonna just guess like 45.
41.
Whoa!
Is the answer. I'm gonna give that to you, Stephen,
Stephen,
because that was very close.
Nice.
And that, I'm assuming, Joe, that was not something you knew off the top of your head. I guess I presuppose that. Final score, since Steve had the tiebreaker there, is Stephen got 4, Steve got 5, Ed got 2, and Joe got 18. So Steve is the winner.
Hooray!
Thank you, Joe.
Deserve it.
Thank you, Joe, for coming on the show. Thank you, Stephen, for coming on the show. We'll be back next week with a new chapter, new anime, all that fun stuff on the One Piece podcast. Until then, my name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
See you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Who knew Steve knew the best about law?
I think we mentioned last week.
Luffy,
it's like
I'm home.
Luffy, what have you done?
Did you knock out all these guys? So
nah, I used my hockey. No, Luffy. Wait, who's talking to Luffy? I got lost in this bit.